Hi, welcome to Chumas Games. Apologies for a little bit of a late start today, but we are jumping in now. And today we are playing Xas Irkalla, or however you pronounce that, really. That's the pronunciation that I'll be going with tonight. Now, what this is, it's a fairly little-known role-playing game. It's been released, kickstarted, I think about 2 or 3 months ago. And it's a very, very dark game. So if you've seen any of the artwork, if you Google it, if you look it up on Drive-Thru RPG or on the Kickstarter page, you will see that the artwork is very dark and very satanic, sort of feeling-wise. And this is indeed a game about which the author has said that it was inspired by sort of satanic black metal and other sort of themes that are there in that type of music. So it will be a pretty serious, I guess, hardcore game with quite brutal, quite kind of horror movie-like in some ways. So be warned, there's a lot of adult themes going to be probably in this adventure. So if you have any small kids or something like that around, or you're not too sure about that sort of stuff yourself, this is the chance to switch off, basically. Before we jump into the game, this game uses the strain system, the rule system. It is a fairly straightforward system. The main thing you need to know is every time you roll dice, a check is made, basically, the player decides if he or she wants to roll 1, 2, or 3 d10. The more dice you roll, the better your chance of success. But if something goes wrong, it will be worse if you roll a lot of dice, basically. So the way how this works is you have something that's what's called a stress level. So every character starts the game with stress 3. Every time they roll a 1 on any of the dice of the d10s they roll, they gain as much stress as the number of dice they rolled. So if you rolled 3 dice and you roll any of those 3 dice is a 1, it doesn't matter if 3 of them are the ones or 1, 2, or 1. As soon as one of them is a 1, you gain 3 stress. If you only roll 1 die and that's a 1, then you gain 1 stress. So that's basically kind of a critical fail, I guess you would call it. If you ever happen to take more, so if you ever reach 9 stress, that's the maximum you can have, your character goes pretty crazy, psychotic, sees weird visions and all that sort of stuff. Every time you would gain stress after that, you don't go more above than 9, but you get 5 doom. Every character starts with 10 doom, and doom is basically a percentage chance to die. So if you're rolling, if something bad happens to you and I say, give me a doom check, that means your character is immediately potentially going to die. So if you roll, you're starting a 10% chance to die, basically. But if your stress reaches 9 and you take more stress, every time you would take more stress, you take 5 more doom. So it goes up and up and up and up during the adventure. There's other things like mortal injuries that will also give you doom. Every mortal injury, I believe, gives you 1d10 doom. So, and if you have too much doom, you will die. And if you lose too much blood, you will also die. Every character doesn't have hit points. It just has that doom value, basically. But it also has something called blood loss, exsanguination. If you ever reach 10 blood loss, you will go unconscious and are basically have lost a lot of blood, and you'll need some quick medical attention or ideally some sort of maybe supernatural healing to keep you alive. Otherwise, you might die, basically. But I will tell the player characters in this adventure whenever they take blood loss, which happens basically with every slightly more significant wound, but also potentially with other things. So that's all the bad things that happen. The good things that can happen is basically when you roll well on any of your d10. So your highest d10 determines your outcome out of all the dice you rolled. It's only the highest one that counts, basically. You take the highest d10, and then if you have some equipment, you might add a bonus to that, or if you can use any of your 5 specialties. So every character starts the game with 5 specialties that are based upon their past. So for instance, Crystal's character Piper has been raised on like a savanna type, like a grassland type of land. If she thinks then when she's attempting something, that her background, being raised or having lived on sort of a grassland type of surrounding, would be would be able to positively influence her role, she can tell me that she's basically trying to roll use that specialty, and then she adds +1 to the roll. It's not much, but if you roll a 10 and you're using a specialty, then you get another level of that specialty. So they can go up to level 5, and every level adds +1. Successes in general for stress dice rolls are you need to roll a 10 or above to have a success. If you roll a 9 or less, it is a partial success. That means you succeed, but something bad also happens. Maybe some item might be damaged, or you take a little bit of damage, or something like that along the lines. But if you roll less than your current stress level, that is called a disaster. You need to immediately have to make a death roll, basically, and something other bad stuff can happen. That's pretty much all you need to know for now. And that's most of the rules, except for a little bit of extra combat rules there is, but we'll get to that once combat starts. But that's basically the strain system. So if you guys, if my players have any questions, obviously during the game, feel free to ask me. But if there's no further questions right now, we will be jumping straight into the game. Xas Irkalla is a world unlike any other. And you find yourself in this world, in dangerous, strange, horrifying circumstances, in fact. But for now, your characters don't know who they are, really, or where they are. Where we start with an awakening. Around you is complete darkness. It's a heavy type of darkness, pressuring in, nearly like gravity itself is increased in this place. You seem to be mostly naked, except for a very, very thick, leathery loincloth, and you're lying on your back on a flat stone surface. The stone is cold, hard, and mostly even, but not perfectly so. There is no light to be seen anywhere, but there's something else. No sound either, but it is as if there's some weird echo in the chamber. You feel panic rising in yourself, and you also feel an echo of that emotion, as if the stone around you is pushing it back towards you, as if there's other people here and they're experiencing the same emotion. There's something like a heartbeat throbbing in the darkness, heavy, quick, and warm. For a moment, you think it is more than one heartbeat. Maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe more. Until you realize, no, it is just one, your own heart. Beating in your chest as if it's trying to rip itself out. Take a deep breath. Stale, old, musky air. Try to calm down. What do you wish to do?
My character will open his eyes and I guess try to frantically move about and feel the area around him with his hands.
So Zahir tries to sit up, and pretty immediately your forehead hits stone. Not too painfully, but there's something there. You reach up above you, and there's stone above you as well. And if you reach out on the sides, there's stone too. You seem to be in some sort of large stone box. Not quite smooth, but the stone is cold and ever so slightly wet here and there. A few drops of water seem to be coming down from the top where you're facing on towards, basically.
Am I thirsty or hungry?
You feel a little bit of both thirst and hunger, but both emotions are pushed aside by this need to get out to whatever this is, get out of this darkness. And again, there's this echo of your emotion as if it is thrown back at you by the stone or all around you.
All right, I'll start just banging on it, crying for help. Anyone, please help me.
As you cry out, Zahir, the other two, you hear a voice saying that, please help me. The voice seems to be coming straight out of the walls around you as you are sort of frantically trying to find out where you are. And you also will find that you're inside of some sort of stone box or coffin of some kind. And you're not sure who is speaking or where they are, but it sounds like they're right next to you, kind of, as if they're like shouting into your ear. It's a very weird and disturbing sensation. One of the many, many disturbing sensations that assault your senses from all sides, even though there is not that much here to assault your senses.
Keep it down, mate. Oh, where am I? Oh.
You hear this voice, Zahir, this other kind of male voice trickling out somehow from the stone around you as an answer, maybe, to your cry. While you're doing this, by the way, Zahir, you're trying to basically push and like try to get out. Roll me some dice. 1, 2, or 3, whichever you prefer.
Oh man, let's start with 2.
2 dice. All right.
All right.
Not gonna be any ones.
I got a 7 and a 6.
Okay, so a 7 plus. Do you have any specialty that might help you in this situation? Probably.
No.
So you push and you realize that the lid or the top is indeed some sort of lid, and you push against it and it starts sliding, and you can see a faint, ever so faint trickle of light coming off the side. And you push some more, and you push it to the side, and the lid slams down onto the ground next to you with a massive bang. But while you do so, you can feel pain radiating down your arm as you have pulled a muscle in your left arm while doing that, and you will take a minor injury on your left arm. So it says major injury on your character sheet, but that's actually a printing mistake. It should say minor injury. So you have 1 out of 4 possible minor injuries on your left arm. Just tick one of the 4 boxes on your character sheet, basically.
Okay, got it. So put it in the major area since it's
yeah, it's a printing mistake. It should say minor. All those like locations should say minor instead of major.
Okay, excellent.
So it's minor wound, grievous wound, and mortal wound, basically.
Okay, excellent. All right, left arm, minor wound.
Yes. As this is happening, the other two, Piper and Solomon, you all of a sudden feel this weird pain blossoming, crawling all over your left arm, as if someone's kind of stabbed a needle into your arm and is pulling through the muscle itself. It's kind of weird. It lingers for a couple seconds, and you tense, and then it slowly fades.
By the gods, what did you do?
You all hear this voice. You can hear each other's voices sort of coming out of the stone around you, or something.
Okay, my character, she was trying to stay quiet at first until the other guy started screaming for help, at which point she started to freak out as well. So you can hear her voice as well now, just going like, "Whoever put me in here, let me out right now." She kind of doesn't know what to do. I think her first instinct, as a hunter, her first instinct probably would be to try to climb up. I'm sure she's been in dark caves and such before, hunting for something like bear, maybe.
And you will also immediately notice that the stone above you, preventing you from leaving this place. There's only about maybe 3 or 4 feet between the stone that you're lying on and the stone right in front of you, above you, that is.
All right, okay, I think I get the design. So I guess I'm trying to push this stone out as well.
Okay, roll me some dice.
Okay. Okay. I'll roll two. I'll roll two, I guess.
Go for it.
2d10, right?
Yes, 2d10.
I got a 3 and a 10.
Okay, a 10 is a success. So you, maybe fueled by this rising panic and the determination to escape whatever this place is, lift the lid off and it shatters on the ground. And you manage to climb out of this box without hurting yourself. And you can now see, both of you, so both Piper and Zahir, you see this chamber that you are in. It's very dimly lit from a flickering source of light that seems to be coming from off somewhere to the left. And it looks mostly like some sort of cave. All around you are stone sarcophagi with their feet. Like, they are all in a circle. There's about maybe 7 or 8 of them. And all the feet of the sarcophagi are pointing towards a large central black stone, some monolith of some sort that's jutting out of the ground, maybe about 20 feet high or so, in the center of the chamber. Zahir, you're kind of still sitting in your coffin, your stone coffin, and you see this light sort of silhouetted figure leaping out, pushing her lid aside, and like 3 coffins to your left, leaping out and landing on the ground next to the coffin. And you feel, both Zahir and Solomon, you feel this burst of triumph kind of in your chest, like a weird echo.
I call out, hey, who are you?
Yeah. I hit the ground hard. I'm just coughing and wheezing at this point, trying to catch my breath, and I just kind of look at you, but I'm just dazed at this point. Like, I don't really reply yet. It hasn't really crossed my mind like what you're saying to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can feel, as you're looking at each other, you can feel this weird sensation, as if, even though you can't really see each other's eyes, it's too dark for that, as if your gaze is reflected in each other and then reflected again and reflected again, basically like looking into a mirror, into a mirror, into a mirror, into a mirror, into infinity. And you kind of both stumble for a moment, and you can feel, you can swear, you can feel an echo of your own confusion and your own fear into that other person, in that other person that you're looking at. And there's a third sort of source of emotion that seems somewhere close by, but you can't quite say where. And Solomon, you can feel all this is happening outside, kind of, but you're not sure what exactly is going on.
Hey, can someone help? Anybody? What's going on? Am I dead?
Lord Casimir finally had enough of me and put me away in his torture box. I never dreamed I would have been chosen for such punishment.
Punishment? What are you guys talking about?
I don't know what's going on. Punishment or not. Could someone just get me out of the box?
Yeah,
really
keep calling out. I'll try to find you, and
right
I'll
here.
try to look around.
Right here.
Okay.
I'll just bang on the box.
Yep. So it's extremely weird to hear. You can feel this rhythmic pulsing in your right hand, as if like someone's hitting it with like a rock or something. Not very strong, but it's just this weird sensation, like a pressure from the outside. It tingles weirdly. And then at the same time, you can hear the banging coming from one of the sarcophagi on the other side of the monolith. Very very, very deep thumps, kind of. And then at the same time, you can't hear the voice properly, but you can still somehow hear it. It sort of vibrates through your mind.
Yeah, I'll carefully get out of the box and just kind of tentatively move over there and try to find the source and see if I can help.
As you're moving past the monolith, sort of circling it, or semi-circling it, I guess, you notice that it has some weird, vaguely rectangular things on it. And you notice that this monolith is adorned by large, nearly fist-sized black jewels. But there seems to be also kind of empty holes where maybe a black jewel would go, but is missing. And you see at least 2 of those empty holes and about 5 or 6 black jewels.
I'll take note of that as I move past and continue to make my way over to where the banging is.
Okay. You reach, as I said, there's about 8 or 9 sarcophagi around, and you reach one that's ever so slightly moving, like the lid is with this nearly rhythmic thumping that seems to be going in the very same rhythm as the weird feeling in your right hand is sort of slightly vibrating, moving, I guess.
I am currently sitting in a corner curled into a ball, whispering proverbs to myself that I have read in my books that I buy from the temple. So I'm just sitting there. Though I walk through the valley of shadow of evil, I shall fear no evil, for Casimir is with me. Casimir's light shine down upon me. I'm like, I'm really freaked out about it. I have no idea what's going on.
And even as you are whispering, the whispers reverberate through the chamber and seem to be bouncing inside of Solomon's and Zahir's head, kind of bouncing off the inside of your skull and coming out of your own ears. It's weird.
Yeah, I kind of grab my ears and I say, that's very disorientating. I'm trying to find you.
I'm not the one whispering. If the person who is whispering, could they not? Please.
You shall not trick me, demon. I shall pass your test.
Look, man, I'm not a demon. I'm just in a box.
That's exactly what a demon would say.
Zahir has now found the right sarcophagus and is basically standing next to it.
I'll give it a heave, and as I do, I say, "Can you help me push it off?"
Yeah, and I'll push up
Okay.
to try to help.
Both of you together, with your unified strength, manage to slide the sarcophagus with a little bit of difficulty, but not too much. It's like, and then it slides off to the side and kind of falls to the side, lying diagonally, basically leaning against the side of the sarcophagus. And you can now see each other as silhouettes. As I said, the chamber is still fairly dark, but you can see a silhouette lying there, basically sitting up, and you can see another one standing in front of you. And again, as you kind of face each other, you feel this weird mirror-in-mirror sensation, this echo that seems to be echoing and echoing and echoing inside of you.
I quickly look away, go like, oh, that sucks. Oh.
Why have you taken me from my home?
What do you mean taking you from your home? I was on a ship and now I'm here.
Well, I last lay under the stars, looking up through from my tent, and I wake up here. Someone must have taken me.
Well, whoever took you took me and probably took, what's her name?
Mine?
Yeah.
Zahir. And yours?
I'm Suleiman, and you are Zahir, and this one over here is?
I'm Piper. That's what they call me.
Good to meet you, Piper. Now, I did not take you. Zahir did not take you. And you didn't take us, assumedly. So, what the hell is that? Why is there just this big stone?
I don't know. I don't even know
I'm
where we
gonna-
are.
I'm going to try to examine the stone.
Okay.
I want to feel around on the ground. What does the ground feel like?
It's stone mostly, and it looks like a natural cave would be if someone had smoothed off most of the edges. There's still a little bit of edge there, here and there, and some sort of wear and tear. This feels like an old place that maybe once was a natural cave, but it's certainly seen the touch of some sort of civilized hand, at least semi-civilized.
Is there any like sticks or any other sort of debris on the
Looking
ground?
around the chamber, it's too dark to make out too many specifics, but there doesn't seem to be much else there. It's sort of vaguely, I guess, elliptical. There's on one side, there seems to be an opening, and there's a flicker of light, maybe some sort of firelight, torch, or something like that. And that's where the only light seems to be coming from. It's coming in through that on the left side to that opening. Otherwise, there's just walls. The ceiling seems to be maybe 20, 25 feet high. It's hard to say it's too high up, basically. It's disappearing into the darkness. And there's this central stone, this sort of dark monolith with the weird jewels, these black gems that seem to be faintly glittering in the little bit of light that is coming in. And then there's, of course, about 6 other sarcophagi closed, still and unmoving.
You said there was light coming in through one of the bricks.
No, it's a large opening, like a tunnel that leads to off to the left.
Oh, okay. So it's like a tunnel, and there's light way at the other end.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I would like to, I guess, go over to one of the unopened sarcophagi and like knock on it.
Okay. Feels pretty solid. There's no answer.
No answer.
As you do knock, both Piper and Zahir, you feel this brief pressure on your knuckles.
You guys feeling that?
How'd you do that?
I don't know. It must be the same reason why when I looked at Zahir, it sucked. It absolutely sucked.
Yeah, I think whatever happened here connected us all.
We should probably go to the light, all right?
Well, how about we open one of these sarcophagi?
You say there's light on the end of the tunnel. Is there any like torches on the wall or anything between here and the light, or is it just?
There are actually, looking around, as your eyes are ever more adjusting to the dark, or the mostly darkness. You do see several unlit torches, like stuck in the walls and some sort of cracks or something. There's probably 4 or 5 of them in total. And while you're looking around, the more time you're spending in this chamber, the more you get this weird feeling of familiarity, as if you've been here before, as if you spent some time here before. But you're sure that that didn't happen, surely. This chamber, you wouldn't remember that. And the monolith in the center and all the sarcophagi and the stone, the 11 black jewels. And then you're like, wait a minute, 11? Where did that number come from?
Okay, yeah, my hunter instincts are kicking in, and I'm gonna like just soften on my feet. I'm gonna start moving towards the light, because if there's light, I'm hoping that means daylight, and if it's daylight, I'm hoping that means air.
Okay. The air is pretty musky, but breathable so far, and you are sneaking down the corridor. The corridor seems to be going for about 20 feet or so, and then opening into like a very small, it's a small opening. It looks more like a crack, really, than a proper tunnel as such. On the other side of that tunnel opening, you can see flickering light, maybe the size of a campfire or something like that. You can't see it directly, but you see its light bouncing off the side of the wall and the shadows that are dancing there.
How's the temperature? Is it getting any more like cool as I move towards the light?
No, the temperature is cool, but not cold as such. It's a little uncomfortable, but not horribly so. Mostly because you're hardly wearing any clothing.
All right.
There is the air seems still. You don't detect any kind of wind or anything like that.
Okay.
Zahir, would you like to help me open one of these other sarcophagi?
That is exactly what I wanted to propose as well. Yeah, let's see what's in them.
Okay. You push one of the sarcophagi, the lid aside slowly. And what you see inside is a figure. The figure is small, though. maybe the size of a child. And there's some weird, looks like vines or roots of some sort that are protruding the inside of the sarcophagus, coming from underneath, and that seem actually to enter the body, which is unmoving, on multiple spots. Multiple. You're pretty sure one of them goes in straight to the mouth, even though you can only see like a silhouette of the head and the face.
I have regrets.
Let's try one more, just to
Sure.
make sure. We'll push another one.
Yeah, you push another one open. This
Right.
one is slightly bigger. The figure inside of it seems slightly bigger, a little more older, maybe teenager instead of a child, but also overgrown, or not overgrown. Overgrown is the wrong word. Weirdly intergrown, I guess, with these vines or roots or whatever they are.
I guess I'm gonna look at Zahir and see if they look planty. But like try to make sure they don't look like at his eyes so that there isn't that reflection thing.
Okay, yeah. So Luke gazes at his chest. What can he see when he gazes at Zahir and his sort of silhouette?
Zahir has a very like lithe build. Doesn't look like he eats much, but he's breathing heavily. Yeah, that's kind of what you get a sense from the silhouette, at least.
Okay, so not plants. Weird. I think I'm gonna grab one of the torches and then try to touch it to one of the gems.
Okay. You jump up, grab one of the torches, slide back down without too many difficulties, and then you approach this central monolith and you start walking around it. And you notice that there are 7 black jewels, black gems, about the size of your fists. And there's also 4 empty sockets on the monolith. 4 kind of holes where probably, just judging by the size and the sort of shape, 4 more, I should say, black gems are missing or should be in there. Or maybe are intended to be placed there. You're not sure.
Looking around, are there 11 of the boxes?
No, 9 in total.
9 in total.
You count them, yes. 5 open ones and 4 closed.
So I've been sneaking down the hall. Have I made any progress getting to the light?
You are now at the very edge of the this sort of tear in the wall, so the very edge of the tunnel. Roll me a check. You are, I believe, a hunter, right, by profession.
Yes.
So that would definitely give you a +1 to this check. So you can use this specialty basically for sneaking and sort of scouting. And I believe you also, I know that you're not wearing any type of equipment, which means your bulk. So if you look at your character sheet on the right lower corner, it says load ranges.
Mm-hmm.
So that is light. You're 0 to 5, which means that you get +1 to any movement-based skill test. So you are rolling with a +2 total now. How many dice would you like to roll?
Okay, so that means I get 1 + 2, so I can roll up to 3.
So you roll up to 3 dice, and whatever the highest die is, you add +2 to that, and that's your thing. But if you roll a 1, something bad happens. If you roll a 2, your skill will go up by 1.
Okay.
I'll
go ahead and roll all 3. I got a +2, so
okay. Are you sure?
why not gamble a little bit?
Okay.
All right, I got a I got a 1, a 2, and a 7.
Ooh, that's not good at all.
Yeah.
So you rolled a 1 now, which means that it's called a disaster. Which means because you roll all 3 dice, you take 3 points of stress.
Ooh, okay.
So now your stress is up to 6.
Mm-hmm.
However, you rolled a 7, right? Total?
I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 7.
So 7 was your highest. So +2 is 9.
Yes.
Which is a partial success. As you sneak closer, and look around the corner out into this other chamber, which seems to be some sort of larger chamber. You see that there is, in the center of the chamber, there's a large fireplace, fairly large, like for a group of people, not just one single person. And the fire there flickers with red and orange, and the fire seems to be directly leaping into your eyes as your eyes going wider and wider, and the pain inside of them, this light hitting your pupils and your retina, is intense. You stumble backwards and you take one wound to your head, basically. So one minor wound. So jot down one of those 4 boxes that you have. Fill that up. And you feel panic growing in your chest. For a moment, you seem to hear the growl of some sort of beast coming from the darkness immediately to your left. And you leap backwards, and then you realize immediately to your left is a wall, because you're still in the tunnel. It's only about 3-4 feet away. You slam your back into the other side of the tunnel, and you're like standing there for a couple seconds, but there's nothing there. And you're just like breathing deeply, and panics for a moment starts to overwhelm you. And the other 2 guys, Solomon and Zahir, you can feel this happening. You can feel this pain first in your eyes as you're sort of blinking and tearing up yourselves a little bit, then the smacking to your back and the panic rising like an echo, not real, but real enough. And you both stand there for a couple seconds shaken until it slowly starts to ebb down.
What was that?
Why? Why, gods? What did I do?
Well, let's not focus on the why or how this happened. Though I am curious about the stones. Maybe we should just focus on living and getting out of here.
Well, I'm gonna touch one of those gems with this torch, and then we'll go.
All right, maybe we can even pry one out.
You reach out with a trembling torch, slightly trembling, and touch the gem. It goes thump. Nothing happens.
All right, I go and reach it with my hand.
Okay. You reach out. You have to sort of tip up, stand on your toes to reach it, and you grab it. And as you do so, you can hear this scream in your ears, just sort of vibrating through your whole head. And you immediately release the gem, you step backwards, and you nearly fall onto the ground. And this scream is kind of like repeats itself with less intensity. And then it's gone, and you take 1 stress. Your stress goes up to 4.
I have regrets.
Solomon, are you okay?
And you've all heard that in your heads. Less intense than for Solomon, but there was that there. You could feel for a moment something cold and hard touching your left hand fingers, and then there was this scream. And Piper, who is outside, just like slowly quieting down and calming down, it stirs you back up again, and you're like, and start scuttling backwards instinctively towards the other 2.
We just need to get out of here. It just seems like whatever answers that are here aren't worth it.
I agree. Knowledge is a terrible burden.
And I'll go up and help Solomon to his feet.
Wait, don't you all notice?
Noticed?
What happens to one of us happens to all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like we're connected in some way.
We all need to get to the surface and get rid of whatever curse has been laid upon us.
Yeah, I agree. We do need to get out.
I agree. Now, let's see what's outside this hole.
You slowly take steps away, Solomon still clutching the torch, And that torch, by the way, can be used as a weapon. It has a bulk of 1, so which means your encumbrance, or whatever is called, your total bulk is, well, 1 at the moment, but you're still lightly loaded. And if you choose to use this torch as a weapon, it has a weapon rating of 1, which basically means you can use it to add +1 damage if you smack someone with it.
Nice.
It's a fairly flimsy thing, though. It's not like a heavy club by any means, but it's better than nothing. As you slowly emerge, aware of what happened to Piper, kind of shielding your eyes a little bit and very, very gradually adjusting it to the fire, you can now see this chamber better. It seems to be a massive chamber. The fire illuminates about 60, 70 feet radius, but you don't see any walls. You don't even see the ceiling. It seems to just disappear up somewhere up high. What you do see, however, is a figure that wasn't there before, that is sitting very, very close to the fire. The fire is smoking quite heavily, and the smoke sort of curling around this figure, partially obscuring it, but it seems humanoid from what you can tell. There's also some lumps of something kind of on the ground, very close to the fire itself. And the area itself of this cave is not smooth, or mostly smooth, like the one with the sarcophagi was. Instead, it's littered with rocks and stones of all kinds of shapes and sizes, hundreds and hundreds of them.
I guess I'll call out, excuse me, stranger?
The figure does not seem to reply or move.
I guess I'll look to Zahir and kind of give like a shrug, and I'll go towards the figure.
I'm going to search the ground and see if I can find like a loose stone or something I can use as like a throwing weapon.
Yeah, you check around you and you see several small rocks that could be like small ones, but still you could use them to throw at people. There's also a couple larger ones that you might be slightly jagged or pointy that you could use as some sort of improvised weapon.
Yeah, I'll grab up some of those.
How many would you like to grab? Like on what size?
I'm gonna get one of the kind of big ones, just to tote in my offhand,
okay.
And then with my good hand, which I'm gonna say I'm left-handed, since I'm left-handed in real life and everything.
Sure, yeah.
So my left hand, I'm just gonna have like I'm gonna say like 3 like good-sized throwing rocks.
Okay.
So like I'm holding one so I can throw it, and then I'll have 2 more in my hand on standby.
Sure. So you have 2 small rocks. They basically have a weapon rating of 1, but allow you to do a ranged attack. And you have one kind of jagged rock that has a weapon rating of 2. So you add 2 to damage if you attack someone with that, and has a bulk of 1, which means that you add that to your encumbrance, basically. The small stones do not have any, 3 of them just by itself don't have any bulk. And these stones also have a quality of 1. So quality 1 means if you're doing any tasks except for combat and you want to use those rocks, maybe, obviously if you can explain to me how you're using them, that adds +1 to your roll.
Okay.
It's like an item, basically. So you can use it either a weapon or as an item, kind of. The same goes for the torch, by the way. You can also using it for something.
So if I have a bulk of 1, is that going to affect me being able to sneak?
No, you have to. You can have up to 5 bulk without penalties.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll follow Solomon as we approach this creature.
As you are both approaching, and Piper's sort of scuttling around you on the floor, kind of looking at some of the rocks, discarding them, grabbing a couple of the others, and trying to see if they're decently weighted to let loose and find this jagged other rock. You come upon this figure, and the figure, as you're approaching, it doesn't seem to move, but somehow it starts facing your direction, even though you're pretty sure you were approaching it from the left behind, as if the whole chamber or the fireplace or something was like rotating without you noticing, or maybe you it's weird. There's this. While you're walking, you catch sight of some sort of ruins scattered around the chamber, ancient cyclopean stonework. And there's something wrong with it, though. It's angled in nearly impossible dimensions, forming a nearly labyrinthine structure. At first glance, an angle seems to go in one direction, but if you look at it again, it seems to reveal another direction, and yet at the same time, both seem plausible. And it's impossible to decide which one of those is the right one. And you see the figure now in front of you. It's mostly obscured by the heavy smoke from the fire itself, but you catch a glimpse of shriveled, raw skin, like that of a mummy, stretched thin over bone. The figure doesn't seem to be wearing any clothing or anything along those lines. And it has large, dark eyes sunken deep into the holes that are looking at you. As you approach, you can hear this raspy voice, and the voice says, "So, the endlings are vomited into Irkalla. You may wish to return home, but all of that was a lie anyway. Your worlds were merely the hallucinations of my slaves. Your dimension is gone, and you are all that remains of it. For you, this is the land of no return." And then just is gone. You're not sure where it disappeared to or how. It was just gone, as if it was never there.
Zahir will kind of move forward to where he perceived he was and kind of look around and look back at Solomon, then look around again and look back at Solomon and be like, did you understand that?
I don't.
Surely it can't be true.
I guess this is the underworld.
While you're standing there, you can see that there's weird lumps of what looks to be half roasted meat, like 4 or 5 chunks, maybe the size of both your fists put together, lying very close to the fire itself. Yet there is no smell of roasted meat in the air.
I poke it with I poke it with the torch.
Yeah, it seems real. You can touch it.
I very, very cautiously this time touch it with my hand.
Okay. It feels a little charred, but yeah, it's there. Nothing bad happens.
I guess I'll try to take a bite of it.
Okay, so you rip it up. So basically, rule-wise, if you want to rest, I'm just throwing it out there, you don't have to do it right now. Basically means you find a safe place and then you sit down and have a rest. Each of you needs to roll me a d10, and if any of you rolls, well, each of you taking a rest, that is, if any of you rolls a 1, then something bad happens. If none of you rolls a 1, you can have a rest, and if you have some food or water or both, then you can basically profit from a little bit of healing, which means you can remove 1 wound, or you can go down 1 on strain. You have a little bit of food now that you bite into it, and it's sort of semi-raw on the inside, and it doesn't taste particularly nice. There's a bit of a foul. It's overripe. Let's put it that way. Taste, but you sort of chew on it, and it's edible from what you could tell.
I guess I'll try to stab it onto the end of the torch, the cleaner end, and then try to cook it over the fire.
Okay.
Try to make it less raw.
Yeah. You can do that.
While they're doing that, do I have any clothing on me?
Except for a loincloth, no.
All right. I don't need a loincloth. So I'm gonna take one of these torches on the wall, and I'm gonna take my stone, and I'm gonna take my loincloth, and I'm gonna see if I can tie the stone to the torch in such a way so I can make me a hefty club.
Okay. So the torch is it's fairly flimsy. So you reckon after 1 or 2 blows, it might break. It's not strong enough to be the heft of a club, but you can still do it if you want to. It will take you a little bit of time. So basically, you would need to do a rest to attempt this crafting process during the rest itself.
Okay, sounds fair.
Okay. So do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. I'll take a rest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And Zahir will kind of sit down and grab a piece of meat and start eating.
Okay.
So I can either heal one or de-stress, right?
Yeah. So you can. Well, you're crafting, so you can't do any of those. You can
Okay.
either crafting or de-stress or heal.
Okay. I think that's cool.
All right. So I guess you roll them.
Before we get into that, each of you roll me a d10.
Oh,
2.
2 is fine.
1.
1. Excellent.
Good
rest.
roll.
No rest for the wicked. Okay. You've barely sat down, and Piper is still busy like trying to fix her loincloth into this club thing. As you start hearing these weird skittering sounds in the darkness beyond the edge of the firelight. And then this weird sounds coming from the darkness. And then again, skittering.
I'm gonna light the torch.
Yeah. Okay. So you stick the torch into the
into the fire.
The fire, and it starts lighting up.
And I guess I'll see if that can sweep and show more of the darkness.
Well, you are standing right next to the fire, so the fire is.
Okay.
You'd have to step away from the fire quite a lot to reveal more of the darkness if you want to.
I should have grabbed another torch, but oh well. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like
Light it up.
I guess
Well,
I'm gonna.
yeah.
I was gonna toss the torch forward and try to grab a big rock that I can smack things with.
Okay, you toss the torch, and it's still the piece of meat stuck to it, and it kind of flies and hits the ground, and you see a movement, something four-legged and slender, leaping backwards, and you catch a quick glimpse of a hairless, pale, emaciated humanoid that seems to be crawling on all fours. It has a completely bald head and has no facial features except for 2 nostrils and a lipless mouth dribbling some sort of blackish ichor. It leaps backwards into the darkness and lets out this and then silence. And then 4 of those creatures come running out of the darkness towards you. Their mouths open and they're skittering. You see those eyeless faces facing you. We are now in combat. How combat works is every combat has a offensive phase and the defensive phase. The offensive phase is basically when the player characters act. The defensive phase is when the enemies act. During each of these phases, you begin combat as the player characters begin with 3 dice each. Every turn, at the start of every offensive and defensive phase, you regain 1 die. And you have to spend these dice, they're like action points in a way, to do things, basically. So what do you want to do? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah?
I'm gonna... Whatever. Yeah. That's fine.
Yep. Zahir goes first. What do you wish to do?
Zahir, do I still have some of the meat still in my hand?
Guessing you. So yeah, you would have probably been roasting it.
Yeah, I will kind of just look at them and try to throw my meat, see if that will kind of tempt them away.
Okay. And how many dice would you like to use for that?
I will use 3.
3 dice. Okay. 3 dice, really? Okay, so all of your dice. Okay. So you pick it up, and as the first of the creatures is already running towards you, what do you want to do with the meat?
I'm just gonna kind of like hold it out and then kind of toss it, almost like trying to
Behind
like
it, or where?
yeah, behind it as far as possible.
Okay. Roll me 3 dice then.
All right. Oh no.
Did you roll a 1?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. So you take 3 stress immediately.
All right, so I pop up the. I gain 3 stress.
Yes, you gain 3.
Oh man, I'm at 6 now.
Yep.
All right, what else?
And what's the max? What's the highest of your dice?
A 6.
Oh, that's not good.
It's not.
Okay. So you fling the meat over the creature, but it completely ignores it. The meat disappears in the darkness, and you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and you are out of dice, and the creature's already tensing to leap at you. Okay, that was your turn. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll try to go next, and I'll take the stone and try to like whap that creature.
The one that's going for Zahir.
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of leap. So it will take you 1 die. You don't have to roll it. They're just gone to move up to the creature, basically. So you have 2 dice left if you want to attack it. You can use both or just 1. It's up to you.
I'm going to try to use both.
Okay. You get
ones, and I got a 10.
Oh, nice.
10 on one of the dice and then a 3 on the other.
And you're using the torch as a weapon, right? So that gives you a +1. So that's 11, basically.
All right. Well, the torch is thrown, so I'm using a rock from the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, that's right. You throw the torch. So you have 11 total. So that means this is a critical success, which means your total damage is 10 times the number of dice rolled plus your weapon rating. So the rock's weapon rating is 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of your dice rolled is 2. So you're dealing 21 points of damage to this creature with your attack.
All right.
You leap up at it with the rock and you bring it down onto the creature's head. This creature has 4 armor, so it takes 17 points of damage, but that is enough to kill it. You just hear this crack as its neck breaks under the powerful blow, and it skitters like past you for another step or 2 and then falls basically in front of Zahir's feet.
I'm just gonna like yell at the other creatures and try to like intimidate them with like, I've killed one of you.
They do not seem impressed. Okay, we have Piper.
Piper is going. How far is she on construction of that club?
It was barely started. Like the creatures seemed to have been drawn to your presence at the very beginning of your rest, basically. It was only a couple minutes that passed, and it wasn't enough to finish it.
All right, cool. So I'm just going to drop everything, and I'm going to run the opposite direction of those things.
Well,
Don't have to run faster than them. I just have to run faster than the other guys.
There's 3 coming from different directions. So you can, I guess, run that direction where that 4th one just died. However, you would be running into darkness. There's no light at the edges of the cave. It's up to you.
Good point. Good point. Okay. There's no light at all. Okay. All right. No, I'm just going to... I'll just quickly throw the, or not throw, but just put the torch in the fire, and
you're not. I guess you would be close to the fire. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine we were all resting in the same area.
Yeah.
And then I will like whatever creatures, I'll just start waving the torch in front of me and just like screaming, like trying to make myself big. Like I know that ward's off bears, so. Maybe it'll work here.
So you're
trying to make myself look big and intimidating, waving this fire, because creatures normally use fire and stuff, you know. So.
How many of your 3 dice would you like to use for that? Actually, I'd say lighting the torch probably costs you 1 die, so you have 2 dice left if you want to use them. Now, you have a stress of 6, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
So if you roll a 5 or less on your highest die, that will be a critical fail. So be aware of that.
All right. So if I only roll 1 and I roll less than 5, that's a critical fail.
Well, you get +1 from the torch, but yeah. So if you roll a 4 or less, basically, then it will fail. So I would try to avoid that.
But if I do 2, then I have a chance. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do 2. That seems like the better strategy here.
Hopefully, you will not roll any ones.
Hopefully not. I got an 8 and a 6.
That's nice. Very nice roll. So it's a 9 total, which is enough. The creature, as you sort of thrust the torch into its face, it lets out this scream of pain, and it turns and runs away into the darkness.
Nice.
Okay. So now that was the offensive turn. We are on the defensive side of the turn. It is the creature's turn now. You all regain 1 die, and I believe you have all used up all of your dice, so you all only have 1 die. And the creatures will leap at you. One of them will leap at Zahir, the other one at Solomon. Piper, standing there with a still burning torch, is left alone for now. So both Zahir and Solomon need to roll me basically a dodge check. So just roll the 10 that you have and pray to God that you roll a good roll.
I got a 10.
Nice. So a 10 means you take no damage at all. And as the creature leaps, you leap to the side and bring the fire in between you and the creature, and it's trying to get to you, but the fire's in the way. It can't get to you. The other creature will go for Zahir. And Mitchell, are you here?
I think they're still. Yeah, I don't think they're back yet.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will roll for him. And that is a 8 total, which means, let's see, where is it? So he takes 1 die plus the creature's damage, which in this case was, okay. So that is 15 points. 2. Okay, so a 2 is the lower right leg. So the creature leaps and its teeth sink into Zahir's lower right leg. It rips out just a little bit on the skin, but still a little bit of blood comes out. Zahir takes 1 grievous injury on the right leg. Oh, sorry, no, a minor injury on the right leg, and he also takes 1 point of blood loss.
I was writing it down, so we have it.
Thank you. Yeah, perfect. Okay, it is now your turn again. You regain 1 die.
All right.
Everyone regains 1, right?
Yes, everyone regains 1 die, which means that Solomon and Zahir have 1 die, and Piper has 2.
Okay.
So who wants to go first?
I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
Since I'm the only one that's like up at the moment, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah. So seeing these creatures attack this other guy, I'm assuming I'm still feeling what he feels. So like I probably got pain in my leg as well.
Feel the pain in your leg, yes, as the creature's sort of teeth nick him.
So,
Man, did I get bitten?
as I scream as I feel like this creature is biting into my leg, and I just start screaming, "Get away from him! In the name of Lord Casimir, may his light shine upon you!" And I'm just trying to like bat this thing away, just shaking the torch in a crazy manner.
All right, go for it. So 2 dice or 1 die?
I'm still at 6 stress, so I'll still go 2.
Okay.
Wait, no, wait. I'm at 6 stress. Don't I get a -1 or something?
No.
Okay, all right. I guess that was from something else then. I got an 8. Hold on, I'm gonna re-roll this one because it was not in the light and like
Okay.
it's like red. So I just want to let you know I wasn't sure if it was an 8 or a 10. I didn't want to cheat and just say 10.
That's actually, it doesn't really matter which one you roll of that. 8 or 10 is both fine.
Okay, well, just say I rolled an 8 then.
Okay.
I'll roll in the light, right? I'll get my light on.
Yep, that's all right.
Again.
Okay, so you smash your torch into the creature, and you have a success, which means you roll. How many dice did you roll? 2.
I rolled 2.
And what was the total of the 2 dice?
I had I said the number. Was it a 6? I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was a 6. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah, it was 6.
A 6,
and then the other was an 8, I guess.
Yeah. So a 6 and an 8 is 14 plus 1 from the torch. That is 15. That is enough to finish this creature off as it's gnawing on, basically, or trying to gnaw on Zahir's leg. You leap in and you smash your torch, and the torch actually breaks, or nearly breaks. It kind of just gives this cut from it, and you realize this is not a very good weapon, but right at the moment it is good enough. That creature screams and twitches and falls backwards into the fire and starts twitching, and it just starts burning. The stench is indescribable. Just filling this cavern now. There's the smoke that's coming from the fire started to be taking on this green tinge. But there's only one last creature left, and we have Zahir and Solomon, with both have one die. Who wants to go first of you, the two of you?
I'll go. I guess with my messed up leg and such, I'm just gonna try to kick it.
Okay.
With my 1 die.
Yep.
7.
A 7. That is a partial success. So you take a 7 plus nothing, so 7 damage basically, which doesn't seem to be. I mean, it hits the creature, it throws it a little back, but it doesn't seem impressed by it. It just this eyeless face snarls at you. But you didn't hurt yourself, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, that is a bonus.
However, as you are kicking it, the creature lunges at you as well. So now it is the defensive turn. You all again regain 1 die, which means you can defend with 1 die if you wish. You don't have to, but I would recommend it.
And he's lurching towards who?
Towards you, here. You just kicked it.
Oh man! All right, let's do this. I'm a fan favorite. I got a 10.
Nice. That is actually a critical hit with your. I mean, what are you using to defend?
I guess if I'm dodging, I'm just kind of like trying to duck out of the way, or maybe I bring a knee up to try to push back.
It leaps up, and you manage to stumble aside, and the teeth just snap the air, not your flesh, and you push it off with a knee kind of to the side. It seems to be going pretty crazy. That was its turn, however. You all regain 1 die at the start of your. Whoever wants to go first can do that.
All right, so I'm back up to just 1 die now.
Yes, you lose.
Okay.
No. You regain 1. So both Piper and Solomon should be on 2 dice now because you were not attacked, so you didn't use your 1 die from your defensive phase.
Okay.
And then you add another one at the start of your offensive phase.
Got it. So if I didn't do anything right now, I would have 3 dice on the next roll.
Exactly. So in your defensive phase, you would have 3 dice if you did not attack now.
Okay.
I'm gonna. I don't know if we skipped my turn. I wasn't sure there, but what my action will be to try to kill the last one with my precious rock.
Okay, go for it. Roll. So
My-
one die or 2 dice?
2 dice.
Okay.
Gonna go for the gambling. Aha, there is no ones, but we only got a 6, which puts it to a 7. Oh, 6
7.
plus 2.
Okay. So what was it total of your roll damage? Your roll dice? Oh no, sorry. Highest roll dice. 7. 6. You said, right?
6 plus the 1
Okay.
from my rock.
So once again, the rock nicks the side of the creature's shoulder, but it doesn't seem impressed. It only takes 1 damage from this.
Dang.
It mostly dodges out of the way. Okay, that was Solomon's turn. We have Piper and Zahir. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go.
You have 1 die.
Yeah. Let's spin that 1 die.
Okay.
I will try to punch it.
Okay. Just like bringing the fist down.
Yeah. Oh no, I got a 3.
A 3. What is your stress at the moment?
Stress is a 6.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, so you no damage at all. You just missed completely.
Oh man. Any negative?
No, not in this case.
All right, excellent. Zahir curses like shit.
Okay. Piper.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, I know where I was working on my club at. I'm gonna run back over there and grab my big rock.
Okay. So you have that would take you one die to run up there. So you have 1 die left if you want to attack, like throw a rock or something.
No, I'm just gonna run out there this time.
Okay. The creature swirls around, its eyeless face sort of searching the chamber. It sees Piper isolated, and it runs straight at her. So you have 2 dice again, Piper. You can use 1 or 2 of those dice to defend if you wish.
Okay, I'm getting to my rock, and guess I'll defend with my rock.
Okay.
If I can do that.
1 or 2 dice?
2 die.
Okay.
All right, I got a 2 and a 4, so not that great.
Ooh, that is not good. No, that is in fact a disaster
Oh yeah, that's right.
because your stress is 6 and you have less than 6, which means you take 12 plus. Oh, you take 21 points of damage. And the damage is at location 6. So that would be your right arm, your right lower arm. So basically the arm you're trying to defend with your right arm, and it clamps down and bites into your arm. You can feel its teeth sinking in, and the other 2 can also feel that, like an echo of pain in your arm. So now, because it is so that would be a, let's see, 20. That is a grievous injury to your right arm. And you take 2 points of blood loss from this wound.
Where is blood loss on
the character sheet? It's on the left side of your head. So your exsanguination limit is 10. If your blood loss reaches 10, bad things happen. Then you basically drop unconscious because you lost too much blood.
Okay, that's the extinguishing limit. All right, and so I earn 2 extinguishing limit?
Yes. So take 2 blood. No. Your exsanguination limit, which is your
blood loss. I see. Blood loss is 2.
Yeah. So the exsanguination limit is what your blood loss has to reach to drop you. Basically, you have 2 out of 10 now.
Okay.
And you have a grievous injury on your right arm.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That didn't go too well. That last creature is holding up pretty well and gnawing, basically climbing onto Piper and biting down onto her arm. And we have your offensive round again, which means you all regain once more. You regain 1 die, which means Piper should have 1 die, and Solomon and Zahir should both have 2 dice. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
So I guess it's going to cost me 1 dice to go over to the critter.
Yes.
All right, and
Well,
then
you can throw the rock if you don't want to go over.
Yeah, I guess we'll try throwing the rock.
Yeah.
Is it
2 dice.
possible to use my background to
Which
add
one?
to this? The explorer assassin.
Which one of those two is your background? Because I just put both of them down because I didn't know which one you wanted to choose.
I guess we'll go with explorer.
Okay, well, in that case, no.
Okay. Then we'll just throw the 2 rocks.
Yeah.
With a rock with 2 dice.
Yeah.
We got the same roll as last time, so that would be top dice is 7, lowest dice is 2.
So that's an 8 total.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that is a partial success. So 7 plus, so it's just 1 damage again. Yeah, the creature is dying the death of 1,000 cuts. And it will probably take about 1,000 to drop it if this continues. Okay, but nothing else happens. You lost both your dice. Who wants to go next?
I guess I will.
You only have
I'll
1
bring
die.
Yep. I'll attack it with 1 die.
Are you sure you want to do that?
No, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Oh, I got a 4. Great.
That is
I'll
another.
probably smash myself with a rock.
No, you just miss wildly, basically.
Okay.
You just sort of trying to get it away from you, but it's hanging onto your arm. You can't really smack into it, but nothing happens. You don't. The pain is too strong. You just don't have enough force in your other hand. Okay, so here. You're muted.
Sorry. Zahir, looking at Piper, will try to run over and tackle this creature. So I have 2 dice.
Yeah.
I will try. I will use 2.
Okay, go for it.
The highest, right?
The highest plus 1.
Okay. 8.
That is another partial success. This time it takes 2 damage.
Woo!
So you smack, the rock smacks into it and snarls, but its teeth are still clamped on Piper's arm, and it will bite down further against Piper in its turn. So you all regain 1 die, and then it attacks Piper once more. Piper, you have 1 die. You can defend with it if you wish.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I got a 1.
Ooh, another disaster.
I'm dead.
And in fact, yeah, you have to make me a death roll for this one. So if you roll, roll a d100. If you roll 10 or less, you are actually dead.
Okay. I rolled a 30.
Sorry, you rolled a what?
36.
Okay, so you are still alive. However, let's see what you take. You take disaster 2 dice plus, so it's 10 plus 9. That's 19. So you take 1 more blood loss as the creature continues gnawing on you, and you take a minor injury on your right arm again.
Just a minor injury this time?
Yeah, it didn't bite as deeply as the last time, luckily for you. Okay. And it is now your offensive turn. You all regain 1 die. So we're back up
Who's going to go
for
first?
Solomon and Zahir, and 1 for Piper. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first then.
Okay. What do you wish to do?
Well, let's see. I don't have my rock, and the critter is still far away.
Yeah, you have to move into one with 1 die if you want, and then smack it with the other, or something like that.
All right. I guess I will go over and try to just punch it.
Yeah.
Punch it good. So I'm going to use 1 die for that.
As you're running up, you can feel the burning sensation of the creature's teeth in your own arm, even though it's not there. You run up, you swing wildly, half panicked.
8 plus nothing.
8 plus nothing. Well, that's still a partial success. So roll me. Yeah. That is. The creature's looking pretty rough now. You smack into the side of the face, and you can feel something breaking on its skull under your fist. It actually releases Piper and falls to the ground off of her. It shakes its head, looks over to you, and makes itself ready to jump on you, Solomon, now. But we have Piper and Zahir still up. Oh, no, Piper only. Sorry. You have 1 die, Piper. Do you want to hold it on?
Yeah, I'm going to hold it. I'm holding it.
Okay, you're just stumbling backwards a bit, raising your arms in defensive position as the creature lunges at Solomon, who has 1 die now, because all of you regain 1 die before the creature's turn, as usual. You can defend with 1 die, or you take a lot of damage. Solomon? Cameron, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
All right, so I got to roll to make sure not to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a 6.
And what is your stress at the moment?
It is a 3.
Okay.
Or actually, no, 4. It's 4.
4, okay. So 6 is a... Let's see. It is a partial success, which means that you still take a little bit of damage. 17, yes. So you take... As the creature lunges at you, you stumble backwards, trying to get out of the way, but it gets you in your right shoulder as it leaps past you, its claws streaking over your flesh a little bit. You take 1 blood loss and 1 minor injury to your right shoulder. So your right arm, basically. And it lands behind you, shaking itself in pain and fury and hunger. And that was the creature's turn. You all regain 1 die. Who wants to go first?
I'm going, I guess I could use this as a dice action. I'm going to take my rock and I'm going to put it into the hand of, I think it's Zahir.
Zahir's still at the fire, so you'd have to move up to him if you want to.
Do you mean
Or-
Solomon?
Solomon, yeah.
So-
Whoever it was that just saved me.
Yep.
I'm going to put that big rock into his hand
Okay.
and, let him know that he has it.
That would be
Like,
1 die, I'd
My
say.
arm is useless right now. So I'm just going to, if it takes a dice to do that, I'm just going to be like,
Yep.
here, eat this.
Okay. You still have 2 dice, I believe, which you can use for attacking if you wish.
No, I'm going to, my arm is crap right now. I'm going to just stay back.
Okay.
I don't think it can do any good right now.
All right. So next one up is whoever wants to.
I'll try to throw another rock.
Okay, go for it. You pick up something and fling it.
All right, I'm just going to use 1 dice this time.
Yeah.
I got a 10.
A 10 on the die?
Mhm.
Nice. Okay, that is a 6. Let me see. Oh, where is it? So 10 plus... Yeah, that's enough. You drop the creature.
Yes.
Fly through the air, and as it's just looking up and basically leaping past Solomon, landing on the ground, turns around, the rock hits it in the temple, falls, lies still. Its hind legs are still twitching like 2 or 3 seconds, and then falls still.
Yeah, you hear Zahir give a big sigh of relief and just kind of plop on the ground.
Okay, so I'm bleeding badly. I'm guessing.
You are,
Um,
and your arm is starting to slightly swell already.
okay, so most of my damage is on my right radius and ulna, or left radius and ulna.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the only thing I can really think of. I'm going to grab that torch I had earlier, and I'm gonna I used that to get the creature. All right, I'm just gonna grab that cloth I had earlier, and I'm gonna put it in my teeth to grit my teeth, and I'm gonna hold my arm over the fire in order to cauterize this this big gaping wound on my arm.
Okay. It hurts. The fire is like cold, in fact, burning into your arm, and you feel heat radiating upwards. So while your arm grows surprisingly cold, and the other two can feel this too, you hear the sizzle of flesh, and it smells disgustingly nice. But after a couple seconds, you leap backwards, gritting your teeth in pain, and the wound is cauterized. It's not bleeding anymore.
Yeah. And I will just bite into that rag, and I'll probably just like fall on the floor and probably pass out for a few seconds.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I on the sitting down and looking at the fire and everything, I look around and say, that was lucky. We should probably capitalize on whatever piece we might find. Speaking of which, did anyone find my meat during that whole charade?
Well, there's still a little bit of meat, so there is enough meat for you to have one rest, basically. Devour the meat and rest a little bit, which allows you to, as I said, drop your stress by 1, which I would heavily recommend.
Yeah.
Or remove a wound.
Yeah, I will kind of grab a piece of meat and lay down and start to chew on it.
Okay.
Can me passing out count as a rest?
Yeah, certainly.
All right, then I'll use that to de-stress.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take some meat, find another torch, or find my torch, and then cook the stuff.
Yep.
During my rest, while I'm passed out, I begin to have this dream in my past life. I'm running through a field and I'm chasing someone, and they're saying, "Come on, you've got to catch me." And there's laughter, like little children just laughing and playing. And then I remember chasing my older sister, and she's saying, "Come on, Piper, you got to catch me. You got to catch me. You'll die if you don't." And at that, I jerk awake, and I just feel like this new resolve come through me, and I just sit up and I go, "Gotta get out of here." And I instantly just jump up and start taking like torches off of the walls wherever I can find them. And
I believe you have used 2 torches, so if you return to the first chamber where you awaken, you can find 2 more torches. The fire, however, is burning very low now. There's hardly any left.
Okay.
You have rested for maybe an hour or 2.
Well, that's what I'll do. I'll run into those and grab those torches.
Okay. So after resting up a little bit, you're stumbling through the chamber. You can pick up a couple rocks if you wish each. And are seeking a way out. And as you do so, you can hear something in the distance. It sounds like some sort of singing. And as you start moving in that direction, you come upon another passageway, like a crevasse nearly, that's kind of going over to what looks to be a different part of the cave. And you follow it for a bit. And then you start seeing light up ahead. Weird, kind of bluish light. And you see a single figure, just a silhouette kind of in front of the light. It seems to be moving left and right, nearly like as if patrolling that part of the chamber. It clearly hasn't spotted you yet.
I mean, we would get the sensation of patrolling from it.
Not sure. It doesn't look particularly alert. It looks a lot more like it's just moving back and forth.
Is there like a corner I could hide behind?
Nothing close enough. Like, this is the end of the crevasse, and it opens up into a chamber, and that's where you can see the figure appearing every now and then, kind of like every 10-15 seconds, and comes back and moves past, and then moves past again.
Well, I wanted to say that while we were back at the fire,
Yep.
I was going to light one torch, and
Yeah.
I guess I'll be carrying it.
Yep.
And I would hand the other one to one of the other two. It doesn't really matter which one. And I'll just say, like, we'll use this one, later, light it off of this one if it goes out.
Sure.
That way we don't need 2 torches burning at the same time. And if I see any more torches on the wall while we're walking down this passage, I'll go ahead and grab them.
You haven't seen any yet at the moment.
Yeah.
But I will mention. Okay. So what do you want to do?
Zahir will look over and pick up a rock and not. She will try to do this as non-threatening as possible, so an underhand toss, but just try to like toss it to see if it reacts in any way.
There's a skittering as the rock hits the ground a couple times. The figure doesn't seem to react at all, even though the rock flew past it or kind of skittered past it. It just continues moving left and right.
Perhaps it means us no harm.
I
perhaps
like to be skeptical in this trying times.
Like, we gotta get out, and that seems to be the only way out of here.
Here, I'll approach, and then if things go bad, we run.
Okay. As you do approach, you realize that the figure is a woman. Emaciated looking woman with long, sort of dirty black hair, wearing a red dress that seems to once have been beautiful, but now is covered in filth. As you approach a bit further, you see that where the woman's chest can be seen a little bit, there is a single black jewel caked in dried blood protruding from the skin. As you look more closely, you can see that her skin is rotten, and there is a stench of decay coming from the figure of this woman. She's very clearly dead, but she stands upright and walks around slightly erratically, like a badly controlled puppet. There is a music in the air, the soft singing of a woman's voice, but it's not coming from that woman. It seems to be coming from further down. There is a small room in which the woman is sort of pacing up and down, and the hallway beyond it, where that bluish light is coming from, and also where that singing seems to be coming from.
As I tentatively approach, I look at her and say, hello?
She looks at you briefly, and you can see her eyes are dark and mostly rotten, and then continues walking.
I briskly walk back to the others. I don't think she's in the talking mood. Maybe we just get past this. She doesn't seem to react.
Yeah, just move faster.
I suggest
Keep your eyes open for more torches.
we should probably sneak, even if she's out of it. You never know.
The room is fairly small, so it's very unlikely you can get past the woman without her noticing, basically.
I mean, and I don't want to put this torch out, and we may not even get it lit again. So I'm going for it.
Yeah, let's just walk.
Gotta go for it. Come on. And I'm just gonna lead the way. I'm just gonna start walking.
You step into the hallway and you see the same thing. The woman, clearly dead, moving around left and right with this black gem jutting forward from her chest. But she once again stops briefly, look at you, but doesn't react after that.
I'll just walk right past her.
Okay. She ignores you.
I'd just like to take one moment and to like feel my chest.
Your chest is normal. There's no gem there. Oh, now that, by the way, now that you can see each other now with all the light and all that sort of stuff. So describe each other briefly for me, because now you're well and truly out of the darkness.
All right. So Zahir has long, black, wavy hair, dark tan skin, a little rough, and callous hands. It's kind of obvious that he spent a great deal of time, probably in a coastal city, maybe out on the ocean. His eyes are kind of a dark green, and he has lines underneath his cheeks, as well as kind of some smile lines as well. He generally looks pretty upbeat. There's usually a smile on his face, though. During this time in the light, it kind of comes and goes and fades.
Okay.
Piper, she's around 5'7", 5'8". She has short brown brown hair. It's very straight, and it's just kind of cut, sort of like a bowl cut, which for where she comes from is actually quite shame for women to cut their hair, but with her tan skin, you can tell she would usually spend a lot of time outdoors. And though you don't know that about her culture, she oftentimes wears hoods and things like that in order to cover those things up while she's in town. But like I said, right now with hardly any clothing, you can tell she spends a lot of time outdoors. And on her right arm, she has this series of tattoos. It would almost kind of just look like tribal marking or something, but in her language, it actually means hunter. As in her culture, they actually tattoo their jobs on themselves. That they take pride in their work and their industry, their life story. So basically, for them. Being very industrious, they like to basically print what they do on themselves. It's a sign of pride in their culture. And so if she actually, that would actually be, as soon as she could actually see herself really well, having gone through so much and kind of wondering, is she still her? That would have been the first thing she would have actually checked on herself.
Yeah, it is still there.
Very important for her. And if she didn't see one on you, she would actually ask about it. Like, where are your badges?
Solomon, give me give me a quick description of you.
He's a wiry man. He's a lot older, I'd imagine, and he's like in his maybe 50s. He's got a curly beard and he's got dark curly hair, weather-beaten skin. Not so much smile lines, just wrinkled and kind of grizzled. He's a rough-looking fella. He's also got a brand on his right cheek, with a symbol that would be unknown to the other two, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now remember, guys, if you have those 5 specialties, if you're rolling anything that you think might be helpful, that your character might be a little better at than the average person because of one of their background traits, let me know. You get a +1 on that check. Anyway, jumping back into the game, as you are moving past this woman, she just stares at you briefly, but doesn't react otherwise. So you just move past into the hallway behind her, yeah?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You move past her, down the hallway, and the singing noise becomes clearer. It seems to be multiple women, nearly like a choir of some sort, singing in a language unknown to you. It's less words, though, and more of a sort of humming. There's a couple of words in there here and there, but not all the time. And you enter a large room. The room is mostly empty except for cushions on the floor. The cushions, some of them are quite beautiful. The rest looks faded and old. And there's about a dozen women in here. And they're all dressed in sparkling dark red dresses, just like the woman outside. However, these women were living, very much alive, very beautiful, and their dresses are glittering and new. And they all kind of stand, none of them sitting, and they move their bodies in quite suggestive ways in some way. And they are humming forth this multi-chorus song. On the other side of the chamber is a doorway, actually a door, a large wooden door. that looks quite fancy.
Okay.
Zahir will move forward and kind of look around and see if he can make it to the door.
Okay. Yeah, you slowly move past the women. A couple of them are looking at you. They're all singing in this way, but as you're looking closer at them, there's something weird about them. When they're singing, they never really open their mouth properly. It's kind of just like a little bit, and you catch a flash of teeth, but the teeth seem normal. But there's something disturbing about this whole scene. And you make it through, however. You just reach the door on the other side.
I want to listen to the song a little bit. Like, do I recognize it at all? Like, is it any kind of like hymnal I've ever heard, or
it certainly
anything like that?
sounds like some sort of hymn, a religious song, just based on the sound of it. Something's weird about it, though. It's like even the words that you can hear, they're not in a language you recognize, but they sound weirdly flat. Something's weird about it. You're not quite sure. It strikes you as odd. The whole thing, the whole situation.
You two don't have badges, so you must have done something to deserve Casimir's wrath. But me, I've done everything that the Lord has asked all my life, ever since I was a youth. Why now does
Badges?
Casimir bring me here?
What are you talking
What?
about? Badges?
Badge. And she points to her arm.
That's a tattoo.
No. Well, I mean, yes, but you know, it's a badge. What you do?
Not on my. I did not serve any Casimir. I do not know.
Nor
him.
do I.
And my society did not tattoo ourselves for badges. The religious types, they tattoo themselves, but no, we got brands. You see, that's how we got our jobs.
Brands? What is up with you guys? Jeez. Where are you guys from?
I am from Ozendorf.
Huh.
I'm from the land of the flesh eater.
Of the what?
He, or she rather, she who reigns with a terrible, terrible hunger. Let's just say the job wasn't willing.
Oh, I just made necklaces by the sea.
I was a hunter in my previous life.
Am I the only one here not worshiping a death god or being branded or has a
Lord
badge?
Casimir, may his cold heart ever beat, is not a death god. He holds the world together.
Ah,
I mean, she probably was a death, or she probably worshipped a death god, but I didn't worship her. I mean, not like willingly. It was kind of like worship her or get killed. I mean, I was a slave. I was like a good class of slave, essentially.
well, I think from my opinion, it sounds like if this truly is a purgatory of some sort, I'm at least in the clear. I don't think I sold anyone any messed up necklaces. Regardless, what does this have to do with the door?
I don't know. Why don't we just open it? I frankly don't wish to stay here for too long.
I don't
It
think
seems
anyone
that
does.
everything here punishes us in some way.
These people around us, are they wearing clothes? Do they have items? Are they just
They are wearing, all the women are wearing very similar dark red dresses with like wide skirts. but very tight at the top, showing off their curves, basically. They are wearing a couple of like necklaces and rings and a little bit of jewelry, not too much, but you don't see any other like weapons or larger items on their bodies.
And it's just women in here.
Yes, only women. Very attractive women, all of them, quite young. A couple of them are a bit older, a couple of them are a bit younger, but all of them are on the young side. Different, very different though. Some of the dark skinned, some slightly yellow tinge, some very pale, red hair, blonde, blue, black, blue, yellow, all kinds of hair. It's not an unappealing sign, but something strikes you as odd, definitely.
Zahir will approach the most normal of them, looking at as far as they go.
Okay, you approach a young woman, not far beyond her girl age, maybe 15, 16 or so, with straight dark hair and slightly kind of Eastern, let's call it, sort of features. Who's also standing there with her eyes across her chest and sort of moving up left and right a little bit and humming out this song.
I approach and kind of look up and say, so who are we worshiping here? Is this a choir or what's happening?
She looks at you and she gives you a smile and she reaches out one hand towards you, kind of in a slightly suggestive manner.
I tentatively kind of put out my hand and look at the others. If this goes bad, you save me.
She runs her fingers across the flesh of your lower arm, and even though the sensation is nice in some ways, her fingers feel cold. And then as you look at her fingers, you can see that her nails are overgrown and splintered, and her skin is pale and slightly flaked off, and you can see the muscles and even the bones underneath. And as you look at her, you see that this woman, just like the one that you met outside in the corridor, is long dead, and you don't understand how you haven't seen it before. This one doesn't have a gem in her chest, though.
I'm gonna try to grab Zahir as I start to see.
Only he notices that. For you, it still looks like a very attractive young woman who is sort of running her fingers down his arm.
I kind of move my hands back, kind of close to my chest. Guys, I don't think any of these ladies are alive.
I'm opening the door. I'm gonna let him, do whatever.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pull Zahir and be like, "Time to go. Screw this place. Hate everything."
As the door opens, it opens it surprisingly easy, even though it is quite a heavy door. And you can see beyond it what can only be described as some sort of royal chamber, an ornate room of red fabric and mahogany wood, intricately carved gold catching the candlelight from a massive iron chandelier that's standing on a table. The bed in the middle of the chamber is concealed with deep red curtains. You can see that there is, weirdly enough, on the left side of the chamber, one part of the wall seems to have slid open, revealing some sort of half-concealed or maybe secret passageway, but it's standing partially open.
I'm gonna go towards the chandelier first. Is there a way to like a chain on the wall that lowers it and raises it? Like, is it still connected, or is it like fallen down? Or
you can lower it if you wish to. There is a chain there.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna. What's my torch looking like?
Pretty all right. You've only been
Okay.
using it for about 15 minutes or so. It should still last.
Right. Is there a sconce on the wall so I can put it in there?
Yeah, you put the torch in.
Then I'll do that, and then I'll call the others over. Like, hey, my arm is still hurt. Help me get this chandelier down.
Yeah, I'll help.
As you start unwrapping this silverish chain that's sort of wrapped at the side of a hook, all of a sudden you look at the chain and it's rusted and old. And as soon as you kind of start lifting it, it gives a and then snaps, and the chandelier hits the ground behind you.
I didn't say destroy it. My idea was to string it up again. I just wanted to light the flame up.
Yeah, candles are scattered everywhere.
I'm gonna
Zahir
start
will
grabbing
go over.
candles.
Yeah.
Probably useful in some manner. They're like torches, but smaller.
Yeah.
Does the chandelier have any jewels on it?
No, it does not. It's a heavy iron thing. It is edged with some gold work, but they're all kind of in the metal, interlaid. It also looks quite old and partially rusted now, and it's kind of slightly bent out of shape by the impact. However, it is still quite heavy. You can lift it, but just barely. It's probably about the weight of a adult man.
Is there any one of the candle holders like that I could try to break off so I can like stick the candle in it? So I can hold it?
No, it would be too deeply entrenched into the chandelier. Without any type of tool, there's hardly any chance for you to break that off.
What if I used a rock? Would a rock work?
As you are standing in the chamber, kind of looking around, you can feel like this chamber is colder than the other passageways. Not much colder, but noticeably colder. And there's this kind of heavy feeling of nearly depression, of sadness in the air. It's starting to slowly affect you. You can kind of feel kind of a weight settling on your shoulders. Nothing supremely uncomfortable, but it's noticeable. It's there. You're not sure what the hell is this, if this is the chamber or something that you did or yourselves. But you can feel it from the other two as well.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick up almost like 3 spare candles. That'll probably be what I can carry.
Sure.
In my other hand.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna. Well, I still have my hurt arm. I don't know how well I can use it. So I'll say.
You can move it. It's not super strong, but you can move it. The fingers are moving okay. It hurts.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and grab the torch then, and just come on. We gotta keep moving. We gotta get out of here. And I'm gonna push as hard as I can to get to that door you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's
only about maybe 20 feet. Not even 20 feet to your left or so. So it's easy enough to walk over there.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Like push this open.
So I'll follow.
You move past this large kind of bed, sliding along the heavy red curtains and approaching this kind of weird secret door. It's semi-open. It's wide enough for one of you to like sort of flick through if you want to. Or even multiple, one after the other.
Who wants to go first?
Not me.
Think you can push it open some?
You can. So you can certainly try.
Yeah, I'll try pushing it open, but
I would normally push, but I have 3 candles in one arm and a torch in my other one, which is been gnawed on a little bit.
Solomon puts his shoulder in and kind of pushes the doorway slightly, and it moves to the side with a heavy squeaking sound. But it moves. You can move it wide enough so that it's mostly open, and then it's sort of stuck. You can see behind it is a thin passageway. It seems to be leading to another door about 30, 40 feet further down, just a straight passage, about wide enough for one person, shoulder to shoulder.
Okay.
I'm lady.
Yeah, I guess I'm leading the way with my torch.
Okay.
And yep.
Okay.
And I'll kind of crouch a little bit if I can, try and kind of like angle myself so I have the torch out in front of me as far as possible, so my body is kind of thin against the passage.
As you move forward down the corridor, the other two behind you, you can see the other side, the door coming closer. It seems a very simple wooden door. It's closed, but you don't see if it's barred or locked or anything. However, just before you reach the door, there's a small alcove on the right hand, and in that alcove, there's like a stone pedestal. And on that pedestal, there is something, and that something is an item that you recognize from your home world, something that has strong sentimental value to you. What is it?
It's my bow. It was the last thing that my partner had. He passed away from the winter illness that was affecting everyone. It was the last thing he had that I was able to keep for myself. How I learned to fend for myself.
Somehow, wrapped in leather, there is indeed slim bow made of multiple parts glued together, these different types of wood with a little bit of horn at the end, and this thin bowstrings like wrapped around one side. There is no arrows, but the bow looks perfectly functional. It looks extremely familiar, and as you touch it, without even wanting to really, your hand just moves towards the hand that holds the candles, whip it with one fingers, and it's just like an electrical shock nearly going through you, and a couple memories become extremely clear, memories attached to this bow for you. And then you sort of snap back out of it, but the bow's still there.
Yeah, I remember the 3 events. I remember first of all the day that I'm being told I have to leave, that I can't stay in the place anymore. The bow is being thrown at me by the rich noble, kind of like a joke. Learn to hunt or die. My next thought is that when I had that arrow in place on my very first shot, my very first buck, aiming it down, every nerve twitching as I let the arrow go, and I heard that as it sank into the buck's chest. And that memory of my first kill, the first time I actually had to take life, and so that I would be able to save myself. And then I remember the end of that time, coming out of the woods, having a pelt made of fur put over me as I walked to town. One of the store clerks sees my bow. Hey, I'll pay you 25 silver for that bow. No thanks. I wouldn't take 250 for it. Ha, you're crazy. Ha ha ha.
The laughter of this clerk kind of trickling in your ear as the memories slowly fade again. And you swear you could hear his laughter like emanating from this very hallway, but surely he's not here. You can all hear this laughter even. And you see the bow that Piper is now holding in her left hand, kind of hesitantly.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, this is my bow. I know this bow.
Is it your bow, or does it just look like your bow?
No, this is my bow. I know my bow. I would know my bow anywhere. It's mine.
I just shrug.
Okay. You slowly continue moving on, reaching that door, and as you touch it, it seems open and unlocked. You push it and opens up, and what you can see on the other side, there is a large-ish room that seems to, however, have been shattered about 20 feet in. Like the whole room is just collapsed, and there's a pit on the end of the room that disappears out of sight. The room itself is mostly empty. Just a couple of rocks and some heavy dust scattered around everywhere.
Do you think there's another passage, another secret one like before?
It might be. Maybe start looking around the walls.
I'm also gonna just look around,
Okay.
get the
You
bearings.
step slowly into the chamber, touching the stone walls that seem a little wet, and you can hear some sort of sound. Then, as you get closer to the pit, you realize the sound must be some sort of river or waterway. And looking down into the pit on the end of the chamber, you can see indeed far down below, maybe another 100 feet or so underneath you, there seems to be water moving. The glittering light of your torch just barely reaches the bottom there. There's also a door right next to the water on the edge. And there is a heavily damaged looking kind of circular staircase that leads down into the pit towards that doorway.
I think the gods water.
Yeah, it looks like we might make it through.
I don't like it. I don't like anything. I don't like this place. I don't like the water. Don't like it. I guess we have to go forward. There's no upstairs, right? It's just down.
No, it just goes down, yeah. The stone stairs look old and halfly crumbled, so you're not quite sure if it's safe. You can try.
I guess I'll try.
Okay. So Solomon goes first.
I'm gonna use my explorerness.
Oh, good choice. So that's a +1 there. And roll me however many dice you want. If you roll 10, that will level up your explorer by 1.
I'm gonna go with 2 dice.
2 dice, okay.
Play it safe. Yes, we got a 10.
And what's the other one?
6.
Oh, perfect. So you level up your explorer to level 2. So write it down in your character sheet. And you can see, the other two can see Solomon kind of like taking a step, then another step, and slowly but surely evading the worst of the staircase as he sees it, making his way down at the bottom. Are you carrying some sort of light source, Solomon?
Yeah, I have the torch still.
Okay, yeah, you also have a torch. You can see his torch blazing down, and there's basically what looks to be an outcropping, like a small plateau, only a couple meters wide, where the door is. And beyond that seems to be some sort of lake that disappears in the darkness. As you're standing there, Solomon, you're looking down into the lake. You don't see it, but both Piper and Zahir, since you're looking down from the top, you distinctly see a massive shape sliding past, not further than maybe 20 feet away from Solomon, under the water. Massive shape, the size of a whale, or maybe even larger.
I called down, Solomon, you're doing great, but I think there's something in the water.
Solomon, I'm going to use my industrious. I'm going to begin looking over these stairs. And you said it's like there's like rust and stuff around these stairs, right?
Well, they're mostly stone, so there's not much rust, but there's cracks and like pieces that have broken off and some holes where pieces of the stairs have just crumbled down and disappeared.
Well, I don't know if this would count, but my society was industrious. So I think I would care a lot about how well something was built.
Yeah.
And everything. So I'm looking at these things and I'm trying to find an excuse to get him back because I don't want to freak him out, unlike the other guy here. So I'm going, hey, maybe you should come back now. This work is really sloppy. My people, we never would have built something this sloppy. Just the poor craftsmanship of this stone. Come back.
Look, I'm just gonna. There's like a cliff behind me, right?
Well, in front of you actually is a cliff, and then behind you is a wall with a door.
And the water is.
The water's maybe about 10 feet below you, basically.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna go to the door.
Okay. So you see Solomon approaching the wall and checking out this fairly large door. As you do push it against it, it slightly opens. It's not locked or anything.
Door's open.
Okay, I'm going to. I know I wasn't a fisher, even though I might have done a little night fishing or something. Would it be a stretch to say that, living off the land and everything, maybe I've used a torch before, like at night, to like draw fish closer to the surface?
Yeah,
so
I
that
believe you were living in
spear?
grasslands, right? So I'd say probably no, you wouldn't know that sort of thing.
All right, okay. Okay, then I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna say, oh, excellent. Just go ahead and step through. I'll join you as soon as I can. I just gotta make sure I have all these gaps seen. I'm looking down at this thing in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
It's
gonna
gone. It's gone now. You don't see it at the moment. You just saw the shape kind of moving past and then disappearing again.
Okay.
I was gonna say, don't break your neck, and then I'm just gonna step through the door.
Okay. So you see him disappear. You still see the torch emanating light out of the door, but he's gone. Solomon's no longer visible.
Okay.
So
All
here-
right.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You first.
Zahir will just toss a little rock if there's one available or around into the water. So,
Disappears with hardly a sound. No reaction.
well, all right. Let's try to get down, and he'll try to move down.
All right. Do you have any
No.
skill that you might be able to use for that?
I mean,
No.
the only thing I could think would be hunter. Maybe like watching my step, watching where I, step carefully.
I'd say no, not in this case. It's a bit of a stretch, yeah. Okay, well then just a straight up roll, Zahir. How many dice would you like to roll?
Let's roll 2.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I got a 10 and a 4.
Nice. Wow. You also make it down without any incident at all. No problem.
I got a 5 and an 8.
Okay, you have 8. Okay, well, that is a minor complication. So as you're sliding down the stairs, when you've nearly made it all the way down and you slip and you kind of cut open your leg on a crumbling, jagged edge of one of the stone steps as it kind of crumbles underneath you. You stumble, you grit your teeth, but you make it the rest of the way. It's not bleeding too heavily, just a bit of a trickle. However, you do take a minor injury to your left leg.
Okay.
And you are now all 3 of you down there. And Solomon is already looking into this further chamber. What you see is stone columns formed by web-like growths. This chamber is massive, and you can see angled stalactites above you, revealed by the torchlight, and they seem to be dripping this weird, white ooze. Around you, stalagmites jut from the ground like massive teeth, and that very ground itself shakes in a rhythmic pulse, like a heartbeat nearly. You can see that there are weird veins, organic-looking veins running across the wall, some of the walls, and they pulse with each of these slight shakes of the ground. And you can see some sort of liquid being pumped through these veins. You see 2 pathways. One to the left, where there's a dim flicker of light. And on the right-hand side, there seems to be some sort of downwards jutting, a kind of diagonal platform or passageway leading down, kind of in about a 45-degree angle.
So on the one side we have dim light, on the other side slight slope.
Yeah, the one side is like a passageway, a gateway at the further side of the chamber, and the right-hand side that's a bit closer. That's maybe about 20 feet, maybe 25 feet away. The other one's like 60, 70 feet away on the other side of the chamber.
I guess I'm going to take the torch and poke it at the white ooze.
Okay.
See what happens.
As a drip hits the torch, and there's this weird sweetish smell, like honey, or a sort of a lemony honey smell that seems to be emanating from it.
But the torch doesn't like melt or anything. It's
no.
not acidic.
No, it doesn't seem acidic.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to try to search the closer room.
So you're going towards the sort of ramp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it like slippery? Is it slippery ground?
What do Piper and Zahir do? You guys see Solomon kind of slowly just walking into the room and then off to the right.
I call, hey Solomon, wait up.
Yeah, I've kind of like as I try to get my scrape on my leg kind of okay, like just kind of wipe it off, and yeah, I'll be quickly following behind.
Okay.
And when I see him do this thing with the torch with this and the droplet and the sizzle,
yeah,
I want to reach up like where he was kind of poking at and see if I can grab some of this liquid.
A single drop lands on your hand. Actually, you're holding a lot of stuff in your hand. So how do you want to catch it?
Well, I only have my bow now because I dropped those candles from my bow.
Oh, did you?
And,
okay.
And then yeah.
So you sort of holding your bow, you stretch out a couple fingers and try to catch one drop. It hits the skin, and it sort of slowly starts running down. It feels cool, pleasantly cool, in fact.
Yeah, I'm gonna like just bring it up to my lips, and I'm gonna just kind of like chap it around my lips, like almost kind of like chapstick or something. Though I'm just trying to do it just to see if it's moist, if it's okay to like have her in my mouth.
Slightly sticky. It's like a consistency of kind of like watered down honey, if you know what I mean. It doesn't taste like much, but as you are sort of moving around your lips and kind of into your mouth, you can feel your lips slowly growing numb, as if like you had like a local anesthetic there.
Okay, so I'm definitely not going to drink any of that. I'm going to say bred.
Yeah, you're trying to speak, but there's like just coming out.
Yeah, and you guys feel tingle in your lips as well.
Yeah, you do.
What did you do? Don't put your mouth on everything.
Like a child.
Let's just focus. Let's get out.
Well, I'm going to investigate this ramp area.
Okay.
I suggest we all follow.
So,
or do we wish to keep licking the whatever that is?
I vote go.
Looking down the ramp, since you're already standing there, Solomon, you see it looks a little wet, and it seems to be going down and then sort of curling around out of sight.
I'm going to veto the ramp. Because that looks slippery, and that looks like a slidey slide bad time.
Yeah, I think usually we're supposed to go towards the light, right?
Let's go investigate the light.
Agreed. And I'll head over.
Okay.
I'm following.
You walk over to this passageway, moving past these jagged stalactites and stalagmites, the stalactites dripping down from above, the stalagmites kind of all around you, and you're kind of moving through them, and then appear in this doorway. There's no door there, it's just an opening. And from that opening comes this warm reddish light. And beyond that, you see a chamber that is vaguely round, not a perfect sphere by any means, but it's not rectangular. Like all the edges are all, it's like an ellipse, I guess, like a large ellipse. And in that chamber, there is the bottom of the chamber is below you. Like you can look down and it goes about 30 feet down or so. right where the entrance is, kind of pretty much immediately after the entrance, and it's like circular or semicircular down there. And what you see is that this red glow is coming from behind these weird walls that look nearly like flesh at the bottom. The top walls are normal, but the bottom walls have this weird, nearly organic tinge to them. And the whole bottom of the chamber is covered with large black things that, for the only thing you can compare them with is some sort of egg, large eggs that seem to be about maybe this size. They're all shiny black, and they seem to be covered with a faint sort of substance, slimy substance. And you can also here see a few holes in the ceiling that seem to be dripping down that same kind of whitish liquid that you have seen in the chamber before that, of dripping them down onto these eggs. From what you can see, there's no further way leading out.
Okay, we're going back to the ramp, I guess.
Are we? Maybe let's look around a little bit more.
Do you know what eggs mean?
Large bird.
Yeah. Something. It means there's probably a parent.
Well, I've come too far to turn back now. This is obviously a test by Lord Casimir, and I shall muscle through and prove myself worthy to him.
Oh, it's not, but continue to believe that.
I must.
Go.
For it is why I continue to go.
If you are so desiring to go investigate those eggs, full power to you. I'm going to stay right here and not go near those eggs.
And are we going to go down the slide?
We'll just wait for them to go explore the eggs or whatever, and then we'll go down.
I didn't say anything about exploring the eggs. I'm just saying let's continue to go forward.
All right, down the ramp then.
Okay, so you leave the chamber, and as you're leaving, you hear this faint sound coming from somewhere amongst the eggs. This faint kind of it's weird sound, but it's fading away into the distance as you leave the chamber. You cross the room once again, stand in front of this ramp, this kind of passageway, slide as you called it.
I am going to try to use Explorer to see if I can not slide down and kind of control my descent.
Yeah. So you roll me a check. You get +1 because you're not encumbered, I believe. So that gives you +1 all mobility checks, basically. And I will give you another +2. Actually, yeah. So +3 in total because your Explorer is level 2 now, yeah?
Yeah.
So +3 total. How many dice would you like to roll?
I guess we'll go 2.
Okay.
No.
That's
roll that.
falling onto the ground.
Aha. Well, okay. So we got 5 on one dice, 2 on another. So that's what, 7 plus.
No,
3.
you only count the highest one.
Okay. Well.
So it's a 5 +3. It's a 8. Okay. So that is a partial success, which means that you are moving down the chute and you slip every now and then. Nothing too horrible though. However, as you are slipping, do you have any equipment with you?
I think I just had a torch and a rock.
So
candles.
As you're slipping, you drop your torch. It slips out of your fingers. You catch yourself, but the torch stumbles down and away and disappears down the chute.
God dang it.
However, you continue now in mostly darkness, actually, on the way. What is the rest of you doing?
Follow.
Okay. Roll me a check.
All right.
So you also get +1 because you're unencumbered. Do you have any skill that might help?
I'm an artisan. I don't know if that may ever come into play.
Probably not in this case.
But I will use 2 dice.
All right, go ahead.
I got a 9 and a 6.
Okay, so that's a 9. Is that a 9 total or a 10 total?
10 total.
Nice. So yeah, without any issues, you manage to slowly but surely make it down the chute. It's sort of curving around. It seems to be going quite far down.
Okay.
But it seems you are making good progress, both Zahir and Solomon, except for losing his torch, that is.
Piper is totally and utterly convinced that this is some test from her lord. And so she thinks, her lord would be fearless in this situation. He would, he would know he must get out to safety. And so she's just going to lay back and cross her bow over her chest. And she's just going to slide down that slide.
Oh,
Fearless as Casimir would.
okay, nice. How many dice would you like to roll?
Just go 2, I guess.
2 dice? Okay, go for it.
An 8 and a 5.
Wow, nice. So with an 8, plus 2, that is a 10. So you slide down and you shoot past both Solomon and Zahir, who are kind of like, oh shit, and just trying to hold on as Piper just goes past you. And you follow, it's like a toboggan basically for you. You just gotta down and down. And then you see it ends in a hole, and you're going for that hole straight out there, and you're probably going to drop, and you actually do, just before this thought hits your head, really, shoot down into the air, and at the very last moment, you manage to grip a hold of some sort of weird tendrils that kind of like some sort of nearly like seaweed of some sort growing out of the the ceiling, basically, that you're coming out of. And you're like dangling in the air there. And just as you're dangling there and waiting, and then slowly but surely the other two, Zahir and Solomon, make their way to the end and look down now on Piper, who's like 10 feet below you, dangling on this thing, this kind of weird plant of some sort, like a root or a vine or seaweed, as I said. There's about 7 or 8 of these tendrils hanging down, surrounding this hole that you're looking into or down upon.
Am I still holding on to my bow?
You are, yes. But did you have a torch?
I do not.
Okay. Then,
Wait, I did have one. What happened to mine?
Yeah.
No, I left it in the scomp, didn't I?
I can't remember.
I probably did.
Okay, well, in that case, there is a broken torch at the very bottom of the chamber that is sputtering and nearly about to go out, but it still seems to have a couple minutes of life, so to speak, left. So, and what you see is underneath you, it is a massive cave, and the floor there is underneath you is riddled with stalagmites, stone spikes, basically, that would, if you fall, possibly impale you quite severely. These strands that you are dangling on do not extend all the way to the floor of the cave. Their end dangles about 30 feet above the tips of the stalagmites. You could try dropping, but looks very tricky. However, as you are looking around in the torchlight, you see vaguely about 10 feet to your side and about 10 feet above you and about 20 feet away from you, there seems to be some sort of ledge, like a balcony, jutting out of the side of the room.
Okay. All right. I want to, could I take the bow and put it over my shoulder, you know how they do in video games and stuff?
Well, you have a string, so you can tie the string of the bow. You could do it, but at the moment you kind of need both, or at least one of your hands to hold on. So it would be tricky. I mean, you could try it, but it would be pretty risky. You'd have to roll for it.
Right. Well, let's see. I'm gonna need my hands both free if I want to try and climb up. Because if I look up, I could tell that they're on the opposite side of the vine, right?
Well, you can see them about 10 feet above you, like their faces looking down.
And they're on the opposite side of where the vine is, right? Like I would imagine I come off that chute, I probably caught onto the vines in front of me.
The vines are hanging down from the ceiling around the hole that you came out of, basically.
But I mean, like, does it look like they could reach a vine and like
they could
pull it towards them?
Yeah, they could if they stuck their hands through the hole and then held on and let themselves drop. It looks like they could, yeah.
But I mean, like, there's no way they could. I'm saying there's no way they could grab my vine and like pull me up, right?
Probably not. The vine and with you attached would be too heavy for them.
All right. I'm gonna need both my hands free for everything I'm gonna try and do. So, and I'm not giving up this bow. I mean, it's way too important to me. So I'm gonna roll for it. Okay. I'm gonna roll to see if I can get this bow around me.
How many dice?
Do or die.
How many dice are you rolling?
I'll go 2.
Sure.
I think that's the safe bet.
Go for it.
I got a 7 and a 4.
Okay. So 7. I'll give you a +1 because the item is of such high importance to you. That's 8, but that is still a partial success, not a proper success. So as you're fumbling and trying to untie the string with like one hand and then tie it to the other side of the bow to kind of fix the bow behind you, you actually start moving back and forward a little bit, and you start sliding down the vine. And you manage to hold on barely, but it rips open a little bit of your hand. And a little bit of blood comes trickling out, and it's now basically a smear of blood on the vine. You take so your main hand would be the right hand, right? I'm guessing. Sorry, the main hand is the left hand. So the left hand is the one you're using to tie the bow, which means you take a minor injury to your right arm.
Minor injury to right arm. Got it. Okay, that makes 2 minor injuries on my right arm.
Yeah, tell me if it's full, that stuff. So every time, if you have 4 minor injuries and you take another minor injury, that minor injury becomes grievous because you don't have any more space in minor, basically. That's how it works.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So I kind of wince in pain. I say a prayer to Lord Casimir and to all the other saints. And if once I get my bow safely on my back, I'm gonna attempt to, as best I can, climb towards the top of these vines.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy enough to do. So you're now looking up at, well, the other 2, basically, who are still standing up on the other side of the hole. What do you guys want to do?
So, as I understand it, we are above a decently sized hole.
Yes.
There are vines going into the hole.
No, the vines are on the other side of the hole. They're growing out of the wall on the other side of the hole, surrounding it, kind of.
Okay. And then so if I was to immediately jump into the hole, most likely scenario, impaled.
Well, most likely, I mean, if you don't want to grab a hold of one of the vines, then yes, it would hurt a lot.
All right. And otherwise, like, I'd have to climb up the slide. This is like the only way forward is to get into the hole.
Yeah, pretty much. Climbing up the slide sounds like a pretty tricky thing. It was tricky enough coming down.
All right. I guess I'm going to try exploring my way down.
Okay. So you jump down and easily enough grab a hold of the vines. There's a lot of them. So you just like, there's a bit of panic in your head as you're basically in free fall for a split second, but you, with a massive jerk, you come to a hold and holding on to one of the vines. Now, basically next to Piper, a couple feet away, both kind of slightly dangling.
And what do I see now?
So you see basically the stalagmites about 20 feet or so underneath, 20, 30 feet, 40 feet actually, underneath you. And you can see that to your left, there is a ledge, maybe about 20 feet away from you, horizontally, and about slightly above you, like some sort of balcony or something. You could probably try to make your way there somehow.
I think I will try to do that by like maybe Tarzan swinging the vine, like trying to get
That's
momentum.
basically the best chance. Zahir, what do you want to do?
Looking around, I will take out a rock and kind of toss it in the hole to see if I can see how deep it is.
Yeah, you hear it striking the rocks about 50 feet or so underneath you.
Okay. And then I will probably follow Solomon.
Okay, so you also leap and like hold on to a vine for dear life, and you're like dangling there, smack into Solomon's back for a moment, and then you're like again, each dangling on one of the vines. As you do so, there's a glimmer of red light coming from your left, and you all turn to look, and you see on the ledge that you saw before, there's light now. And what you see on the ledge is there's 3 stumpy, kind of crippled trees that seem to be growing there. And there's a humanoid figure tied to each of those trees, like nearly crucified, but with like ropes. And there's a 4th figure standing there in a red kind of hooded cloak looking at you. And that red figure is where the light is coming from. It seems to be emanating from the robe itself. And you can see there's this weird contraption of rope attached to each of the 3 crucified figures. It looks nearly like there is some sort of a hook attached to their flesh, and the rope kind of dangling down the hook and disappearing below.
Zahir kind of gives a wave and says, "Hey, could you help us?"
The figure, you don't see its face, but you can hear the smile in its voice, says, "Yes, of course. I don't want you to die, and you don't want to die. Come, I will help you." And he steps to the side and he gestures at the 3 figures behind him. And all 3 of you recognize one of these figures each. They are important figures, maybe loved ones even, from your past. Who are they? Let's start with Solomon. Who do you see? Who do you recognize?
I think I would recognize my sort of handler and mentor, because
What is his name?
his name would have been Tavor.
Tabor, yeah.
He would have been the one who would have given me my assignments. He would have been the one who raised me from the sort of collective orphanage that most of my kind went through, like from my class.
And what does he look like?
At this point, he'd be very old. I'm surprised he's still alive, even. He would have been, at this point, a very haggard old man. When he was younger, he was in his youth, in his prime, he was fit and all that. But now he's hunched. He would have been a hunched over man. He would have had a long beard, super bushy eyebrows, all that like extra hair where it shouldn't be, and he would have been bald at this point, all of it going to the brows and mustache and all the rest.
You can see there's this hook basically in his flesh with the rope tied to it. He's very pale, except for the wound where the hook is stuck in. And he is not he doesn't seem unconscious despite everything. His eyes are wide and he's looking at you. His lips are moving, but there's no sound emerging, and he's not struggling. He's just like hanging there, mostly limp and naked, just as mostly just as you are. All right, Piper, who do you see?
Does the person have to have been alive before we left?
Not necessarily, as long as it is important to you.
Okay. I see. I guess what most people would say their husband, but for them it's just more of a life partner. She sees her life partner, like where she comes from. They actually, from a very young age, again, it's very industrious society. So everything's meticulously planned out. Just that's their culture. So she actually drew a lot for her husband. And so they grew up together, bonding as children and everything. And once they reach an age appropriate, deemed by their elders and such, they married. So this is who she would see right now. I mean, this was her best friend. It was the one she drew lots with. She was once married to him.
What is his name?
His name was Adam.
All right. Adam is struggling weakly. He looks thinner than you remember him in life, but very much alive. And he also has one of these hooks in his flesh. So here, who do you see?
So Zahir sees his good friend and fellow stallmate Peter. They both sell wares in town after making things. He mostly does kind of like metal pots and pans and such stuff for the everyday use, while I do more of the necklaces and other artistic wares. We generally have breakfast together. We have lunch. We hang out a lot, and he's just always been someone who's kind of supported him.
Right now, Peter looks absolutely terrified. There's streaks of red as if he was beaten with sticks or maybe even whipped on his skin. There's this hook attached to him with a rope dangling down. And he's shaking. He's not fighting the bonds. He's just shaking in terror. His eyes are wide, and you're not quite sure if he's all there. He just seems completely terrified. And that is the three figures that you see standing beyond this robed individual.
Zahir will kind of yell out, "Hey, Peter, buddy, hang on. I'm gonna head on over there and try to be heroic." And I'll start to kind of swing over.
Yeah, no. As soon as I see Adam, I scream for him, and yeah, I'm gonna turn into Tarzan woman here.
Okay, so both Piper and Zahir are starting to swing. What does Solomon do?
I guess Solomon. So the other two are trying to get towards their peeps.
Yeah, apparently.
I guess I think before we were doing that, I was going to try to Tarzan my way over.
Okay, well, you can both. So all three of you can't start swinging. As all three of you are doing it, the whole vines start shaking slightly, and you realize, oh shit, they're gonna, and then they snap. But you're swinging, and you're kind of flying through the air, and all three of you hit the side of the stone, and you start sliding down, and you see those three ropes dangling, one to each of you. And even while this is happening, you can hear this voice from the figure up above saying, "Come, take my offerings to you, so you may grant these offerings to me. Save yourselves and let them pay the price." And you are sliding, and you don't have much time. You want to grab the ropes, or what are you doing?
I grab the rope.
Okay, Solomon's hand streaks out, grabs the rope, and you can feel a pull, and you can hear Trevor let out this scream of pain, and there's blood spattering down on you as the rope slowly slides down and the hook starts tearing through Trevor's flesh. And you go down, and then the rope stops, and you can drop down the last maybe 10 feet easily, landing amongst the stalagmites. Okay, what are the rest of you doing as this is happening?
Well, I was gonna grab the rope just out of instinct, but as soon as I hear that other guy scream, like I imagine I can tell he hit the rope and then the guy started screaming.
Yes, very much.
I mean, I figure like what's gonna happen to Adam. So it's like one of those pictures where like it's like I hit the rope, but then like I just don't close my hand around it, like I just hit it flat, and I just scream Adam's name as I slide down or fall down now, I guess.
Sliding down, there's a little bit of like a few handholds on the rock itself. You can try to make a sort of semi-climb out of it, but you will have to roll me.
Okay. I mean, I came from the grassland, so I don't think Hunter is going to help me here at all.
No, I'm afraid not. You would need mountain or something along those lines for that.
Okay. So
how many guys?
All right. I guess I'll go 2. I guess that's a safe bet.
Okay.
I got a 9 and a 3.
A 9 and a 3. Okay, a 9 is not quite good enough, and this is a check with disadvantage, which means that your success goes down by basically 1 level because it is very difficult. So that basically means you had with a 9. So that will be a partial success, which means that becomes a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
You fall and you smack the ground. You hit the side, not the tip, luckily, of one of the stalagmites, but it hurts. The rock tearing open your skin. I'm afraid you will take, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 9, and 7. So your left leg, your left arm, and your torso, all 3 take a grievous wound.
Okay. Wait. The mouse cap. Oh, there it is. Okay, my left leg.
Yes, your left leg, your left arm, and your torso.
All right, left arm.
And you also take 2 points of blood loss.
Okay.
As your blood stains the rocks everywhere. And you have to give me a death save, a death check. So if you roll a 10 or less, you're gone.
Oh, right. D100, right?
D100, yes.
Okay. 17.
Close, but you're still alive. You're lying there on the ground, half broken, very much hurt.
I made 1 death save earlier. Does that matter at all?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay. Because it is a disaster. Let me see. I believe you also take. Oh no, you don't. You didn't roll a 1, did you?
No.
Okay. And Zahir
grabbing that rope.
You're grabbing the rope.
Yeah, but I say sorry, Peter.
No! And you can hear basically Peter being disemboweled by the hook that just slides down his body. It's cutting through everything. You can hear like ribs breaking as the hook seems to be just sliding through them. And you also land more or less gently, but spattered with the blood of your friend on the ground there.
So here is kind of shaking and slowly, like, getting the blood off him as best he can.
You can hear Adam's voice from up above going, Piper! Piper!
Adam! So And I'm not impaled on a rock, am I?
No, you just smacked into the side, luckily, of one of the stalagmites. It nearly broke your spine, but you're not impaled now.
Okay, great. You said I could feel handholds as I was sliding down earlier.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm going to start trying to make my way back up.
Okay. As you are climbing up there, the first thing you realize, there was a crack that you thought your spine was breaking when you hit the ground. But it wasn't your spine. And you look over, and you see your bow broken in 2 pieces, just lying there. You fell on it. It was on your back.
Oh, gosh.
Might have protected your spine, but it's destroyed. And then as you look up and sort of tense, start moving your way back towards the wall that you fell off of, basically, you see this figure looking down on you. There's this hood, and the 3 figures, 2 of them just cut nearly into 2, like someone jammed a big knife into their chest and just pulled down all the way. Everything's hanging open. You can see entrails and blood, and their faces are just filled with pain and terror, but they're both dead. Adam is still there. He looks down at you, and his eyes find yours, and his lips form your name. And then the figure says, "You will not make it long here." And then the figure and the 3 figures and the trees disappear.
Zahir kind of looks at Piper and sorry.
I mean, like, my heart is broken in 2 right now, and my mind is just sort of twisted. And I mean, at this moment, I'm kind of having a breakdown. I just kind of hit the ground on my knees and just, like, I mean, like, my world is shattered at this point. I just don't know what to think.
Both Solomon and Zahir feel that very much reverberating in their own bodies. You can feel sobs racing through your chest, even though you can sort of gulp them down again.
I shake my head and say, you got to stop that, all right? If we're going to survive, you got to swallow that, and you got to push it down and not think of it again.
Push all those feelings into a tiny, tiny little ball and never deal with them.
Yeah. I understand now. You 2 are not demons. You're my guides. I can't believe I didn't see it before. Of course.
I don't know about that. I once lost a guy.
Lord Casimir wants to make sure that I put him above all else, that I put the land of Asturia above all else. I understand.
I will not take any claim to be guiding anyone but myself.
I am sorry I failed this test. I will succeed on the next one.
Look, I think you got to understand this real quick. There is no God here. We are alone, and all we have is each other. That's it.
I completely understand. Yes, you're right, guard. Yes. No,
oh my God.
Okay. Well, let's go. Let me take on the next challenge bravely.
Not bravely, cowardly. That's how we survive.
I mean, you can be brave. That's your prerogative. I'm going to be a fair distance away because I am not really cool with all this sobbing.
Well, also,
as I get far enough away from them, like just not listening anymore. I mean, I'm just like choking back every bit of tear I can. It's not helping. Like, I still got tears just streaming, but yeah, I really do think these 2 are like my guardians that are going to guard me through this place now. And so I got to get to my next test.
Piper just sobbing and shaking, tears streaking down her face, this walks past this sputtering torch that kind of mostly snuffed out anyway, broken on the ground, and then continues walking and to a large opening that seems to be leading onward, just barely visible at the edge of the chamber in the darkness, leaving the two of you behind at the first. And we'll take a 5-minute break as we are approaching the last and final part of this adventure. So everyone can grab some water or snack or something and go to the bathroom, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. So guys, when you are back, just write in the chat that you're back, please. And then we'll pick it up. So see you in 5.
All right.
All right. Looks like everyone's back. So shall we jump back in?
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Piper stumbling forward, eager for what she perceives as the next challenge. Solomon and Zahir slowly catching up to her. Zahir a bit up ahead. Zalman lagging a little bit behind. The next chamber you enter is a large chamber. And what you see is several things. At the end of the chamber is a large gate made of iron and bronze, apparently. On the left side of the chamber is a stone throne, crudely carved. In the center of the chamber is a large, intricate, curled symbol painted onto the ground with some sort of maybe blood or some sort of reddish color. And around that symbol stand what looks to be some sort of totems, weird, not statues, but amalgamations of like wood and bone and maybe even flesh. There's a faint light that seems to be coming from the door itself, allowing you to see reasonably okay in the chamber, all in all.
Does it look like there's any exits?
Except for that large gate, no.
Start heading towards it.
Okay. As you approach the gate, you can see the totems a little better. There is 5 of them. One of them seems to be multiple iron chains wrapped around a piece of rock that seems to have like a vein of metal inside of it. A pickaxe, glittering silver, is jammed into the rock. And there's a bunch of some sort of maybe gold or something, like pieces of something glittering, like strewn around it. There is one that seems to be mostly made out of kind of minerals, these kind of quartz crystals and such that are piled on top of one another and held together with these intricate silver threads. One is a large skull with antlers, and the skull seems to be resting on the tip of some sort of wooden staff or something, and the staff itself is surrounded with hide and pieces of horn and bone. And then the last one, oh no, sorry, the fourth one is a small table that seems to be piled on with some sort of rotting fruit and chunks of meat. And the last one is some sort of skeleton that seems to be covered with a tattered cloth. They're all kind of in a circle around this intricate symbol. You also see that in the middle of the symbol, there seems to be a scroll of some sort of parchment lying there.
Oh, a scroll. I'll start moving towards it.
Okay. What is the rest of you doing?
Guess I'll just go with Zahir.
Okay. So Zahir and Solomon are approaching this symbol with it. What does Piper want to do?
These bones and stuff that are on the wall, does it look like they could maybe be like worn for protection?
Sorry, which ones?
I mean, they're like skulls and stuff, right? So if they're big enough, like maybe I could put one of that one with the antlers on my head.
Maybe. They are big enough, sure.
I'm just wondering if there's any way I could do that, make some like bone armor.
You could, if you want to walk up there. So you follow the other two. And as you do, there is a coughing sound, like a behind you to the left, and you turn over and you see on the stone itself, there's a figure sitting there. This weird, emaciated figure that you saw at the standing or sitting at the fireplace a while ago. Withered and draped in kind of skin stretched over bone. You see atop of this throne sits a grotesque one-eyed idol with a black jewel serving in its eye. The figure itself seems to be looking at you through its hollow eye sockets, which is some sort of skin stretched there.
Okay. I'm going to that skull that had antlers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Do the antlers do they feel like good, like antlers, like deer antler?
They look like the entrails of some sort of massive elk or something like that. Oh, not elk, but like a stag or something like that. They are pretty big, yeah.
If I'm a hunter, would I be able to maybe get these antlers out with the intention that I would use them as weapons if I could?
Potentially,
if I could maybe, being my hunter skill, maybe I've, plunked antlers out before so that I can make knives and stuff out of them.
As you reach out one hand for the antlers, you can hear the voice of the figure calling out to you. If you wish to receive gifts from the totems, let drawn blood remain untouched, but offer your own to the idols. Be warned, the gods offer permanent gifts.
Are these idols of Lord Casimir?
No, your lord is gone. He was an illusion.
Then I shall not leave your idols my blood. And I'm going to take those antlers.
Okay. As you touch the antlers, roll me a check, please.
I'm going to drop some blood.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did a D100 for some reason.
Okay.
It's supposed to be 2 10s, right?
2d10s, yes.
Oh, fuck. 4-1.
Okay, ooh. So 2 dice, so you gain two stress immediately. How much stress does that get you up to?
7.
Okay. Whew. Okay. And I believe that is also what was the other one? A 4, right?
Yes, a 4 and a 1. Yeah.
That is also a disaster. So as you move in and go for the antler, your hand twitches. Your left hand, I'm assuming, your main hand is going for the antlers.
Mm-hmm.
And you hit the antlers, and it's nearly like the totem itself has moved, and it cuts open your arm. You take a mortal injury on your arm, which means 2 things. Firstly, on your character sheet, on your left arm, you jot down a mortal injury in that spot. Secondly, you take 8 points. So your doom is raised by 8 points, so going from 10 to 18.
Okay.
And you also have to give me a death roll. So if you roll 18 or lower, that's it.
Okay.
100.
Oh shit! 11. Yep, that's it. 11.
Okay. So you guys see Piper reaching out and then jumping backwards, and her whole arm is cut open to the bone, and you see blood spurting out on the ground, and she sort of stumbles backwards, and then her eyes roll back, and she falls.
As I'm laying there, as my eyes are falling back, and I'm getting cold. I feel cold, so cold, and everything wrapping around me. All I can say is, "I'm sorry, Lord Casimir. I failed," and then I die.
All right. Solomon and Zahir watch Basically, Piper's blood spurting out of the wound, but then getting slower.
I look to the man and I point at the dead woman. Does that count as a sacrifice?
He doesn't seem to reply.
Okay, and I kind of cut my. I try to find a way to bleed wherever seems appropriate.
Okay. Which totem do you want to sacrifice your blood?
The scroll.
How do you do it?
The
scroll is not a totem. The 5 totems are around the edge of the sigil of the circle. The scroll is in the middle of the circle.
What do can you describe real quick the totems again?
Yeah, we have one that's sort of iron chains with a pickaxe stuck in a chunk of like rock and iron. We have one that seems to be compiled of mineral growths. We have one that's kind of rotting fruit and chunks of meat. One that has animal bones and this large skull. And we have one that is like a skeleton, mostly with a tattered cloak, a cloth around it. Like a heavy.
All right. So my thing is greed. So I'm gonna go to the pickaxe.
All right.
Kind of screams of that. And the place where I was kind of injured earlier, on my leg, I will just kind of put some pressure on it and
you break open the scab sort of.
Yeah, and just kind of bleed over it.
There is a surprising amount of blood coming out. For such a small wound, just running down your leg over towards the floor and onto the totem, basically. And you feel weaker for a moment as you were in exsanguination level. I guess lowered by 1, so from 10 to 9.
All right. All right.
However, you hear the voice of the figure saying, "The blacksmith respects and accepts your offering." And then the totem sort of shudders and the pickaxe slides free and hits the ground in front of you. This silver pickaxe that seems to be adorned with some sort of intricate carvings.
I lick my lips and kind of pick it up.
All right. So this pickaxe is surprisingly heavy. It has a bulk of 8. However, it also has a weapon rating of 9. So if you hit anything with that, you add 9 to your damage.
All right. So what was the bulk again?
8.
8. All right. So that puts me at medium.
Okay. So you do no longer get a -1 to your +1 to your mobility checks while carrying the pickaxe.
All right. And I got a pickaxe which plus
+9 damage.
Excellent.
So for the so there's 2 more, or I guess the 2 totems that I was interested in was we had the mineral growths.
Yes.
And then you had the tattered clothes.
Yeah.
And then there was a staff. Was that the animal one?
Yes, there was one. There was like a staff stuck into the totem itself, and then there's on top there's this antler-filled skull that is now completely bloodied by Piper's blood, where she cut open her arm.
I'm gonna avoid that one. So we have the tattered cloth, and then we have the mineral growths. And what else is there with the tattered cloth?
So you have this. So the animal totem, so to speak. You have the one with like a skeleton with this tattered cloak above it. You have one that has kind of rotting fruits and pieces of meat on like a platter, and the one with the mineral deposits, like the quartz, like stones and stuff like that.
But the tattered cloth is just tattered cloth.
Yes. That one's probably the simplest of them all, from what you can say.
I think I'm going to go with the quartz. That one seems interesting.
Okay. So how are you going to do that?
I guess I'll take my left hand and go and touch one of the quartz and use it to, like, cut a bit of my
Okay.
finger.
Yeah, your finger is cut and starts bleeding, and can feel this weird cold seeping into your arm immediately. You shake it to remove your arm backwards, and your exsanguination also goes down to 9 from 10 level. You feel weakened, dizzy for a moment, and the voice says, "The alchemist accepts your offer." And out of the pile of these quartzes and rocks comes sliding this, what looks to be a mummified human hand with a little bit of the arm attached to it, maybe about up to here. One finger is missing, broken off potentially. The other 4 have these yellowish, nearly claw-like nails on it, and it just hits the ground in front of your feet.
Oh man, I'll take a step back.
I guess I'll pick up the hand.
Okay. As you do, and you turn it around slowly, you can see that in the middle of the palm, there is a wick, like a large candle has. This wick seems to be made of hair, though, and it's kind of coming out of the flesh. And as you touch it, there's a brief pressure in the back of your mind, and you know what this is all of a sudden, like knowledge has been gifted to you. This is called the Hand of Glory. It is a light that will burn forever, never to go out once lit, unless you want to extinguish it. But the light can only be seen by its wielder.
Interesting. I asked the figure,
Yeah.
Can we get more than one totem?
The gods are jealous.
All right, fair. Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. Can we go through those doors now?
The doors are closed. For now, opening them is possible to you.
All right, let's open them.
Listen to
Okay.
me now, children. You may call me the Eye upon the throne. I am the ruler of this maze. This throne is your reality. The one who sits on it controls the mind's eye. Do you think you are in control of your own reality? Are you the one that sits upon the throne? Or are you the throne itself? Shakes his head. My throne can be held back no longer. For that, I am sorry. Points with one thin, gaunt hand and the finger towards the circle that you're standing on. This is your way out. Complete the harvest rite, and you shall be spawned into the world, my endlings. Your time upon this throne is over. And then he's gone.
Huh.
I guess let's let's go to the circle.
I'm gonna read that parchment.
Okay, well, to get to the parchment, you have to step into the circle and
Okay.
go all the way to the center to get the parchment.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll me a check
we're-
as you are moving through a circle. Is there anything you're paying specific attention to as you're moving around?
Ground.
Yeah.
well, there's these, as I said, the ground is stone, but there's these many, many intricate lines of potentially blood or at least some red color kind of forming this sigil thing.
Definitely avoid touching that.
Yeah.
Try to.
Yeah. Step on a crack, break your mother's back.
Exactly.
I got a 7. I guess I'll see about thing.
Sorry?
I'm gonna try to let's see. Whoop. Astronomy. Astronomy. Cultured past.
No, I'm afraid that doesn't help you either.
All right. Well, 7.
Okay, so as you start moving, you reach the center ever so slightly, carefully putting your feet. You lift up the scroll and you start making your way back. And just as you're about to exit, your foot slips slightly and touches part and smears a part of the blood. As it does so, you feel this horrible agony just surging up into you. And you feel your skin starting to burst open. And Zahir, you can see Solomon's skin just like opening up these boils and sores and pustules. And all of them start oozing blood. Solomon, you stumble forward, nearly fall, and you take 6 levels of 6 blood loss.
Oh dear.
What does that get you to?
That gets me to 7.
Okay, and your exsanguination is what?
9.
9. Okay, so you're very shaky. You've lost a lot of blood as you're like lying on the floor and keeping blood from dozens of these sores. But you're still conscious and alive.
I have.
Are you okay?
Regrets. So many. I read the parchment.
Okay, you unroll it slowly. On it, the scroll reads as follows. Now pay close attention. The top says, Rites of the Harvest to manifest the Quillhoth. And it has a total of 6 lines. The first line says, pluck from the harvester the least amount of fruit necessary to perform this ritual. The second line says, leave offerings of fruit in equal amounts to the blacksmith, the hunter, and the wanderer. The third line says, after making an offering, you must display to the alchemist how much plucked fruit is left, so that he may double that amount. The fourth line says, after all offerings have been made, no plucked fruit shall be left anywhere but the offering basins to the blacksmith, hunter, or wanderer. And the last line says, suffer your fate if you falter from this formula, or attempt to use deception in any way.
All right. Can we have that read out again?
Yeah, I'll copy it and I'll send you a link with the image.
Perfect. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be reading it probably like 50 times.
A lot, yeah.
Let's see if this works the way I intended to. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to copy it into the chat and hopefully you'll be able to click on the link and then see it.
Awesome, I see it.
Yeah, works out? Perfect.
All right, here we go.
Apparently it is some sort of terrible mathematical riddle. Yes, this game is so evil that it even uses maths.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. So pluck from harvester the least amount of fruit necessary to perform this ritual. You need equal amounts to the blacksmith, hunter, and the wanderer. So we know that at least has to be 1. each. After making an offering, you must display to the alchemist how much plucked fruit is left so that he may double that amount. If that's the case, he would double 3 to 6. After all offerings have been made, no plucked fruit shall be left anywhere but the offering basins of the blacksmith, the hunter, or the wanderer. Oh man.
So how many fruit do we start with?
I'm just trying to find that. Give me a second.
So that's important.
Yeah. Where is that? I just can't find it at the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, weirdly enough. It just says a rotting fruit. Surely there must be a number somewhere there.
After making an offering, you must apply much.
Even if there was like one fruit. No, there'd have to be more than one fruit to start.
You know, it has to be. Well, obviously, yeah. I'm just trying to find that, but it doesn't say. So it must not be important, I guess. Let's say, I don't know, 20 or something.
Oh, it's going to take a long time.
After all, they made no pluck should be left anywhere but the offering. Okay, the least amount necessary.
So it's basically, the way I read it, there cannot be any fruit left in the harvest basket after the blacksmith, the hunter, and the wanderer had their go. And yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Let me double that amount.
Because it seems we have to grab every single fruit from the harvester. Because otherwise the alchemist would double that amount.
Yeah, well, so even if he doubles that amount, we can still put that into the offerings.
Because it seems we have to take all the fruit from the harvester. Because
that is true. If we take all the fruit and then put them equally among the three, when the alchemist tries to double it, it's 0, and thus the blacksmith, hunter, and wanderer have the same amount.
There is 20.
Yeah.
Which would only get us up to 18, which means we have 2 left.
Yeah, I still haven't found how much fruit there is originally. So as I said, it's weird.
If we did 18, we'd have 5 left, and then he would double that amount, and we could give. My question is if we have to do 3 all at once, or can we make 1 offering to the blacksmith, go to the alchemist, then give to the hunter, and then go back to alchemist? Because after making an offering, you must display to the alchemist. Does that mean after every offering, and is an offering to one god, or is it to all 3? It's a very, very interesting puzzle.
I don't actually know. It doesn't explain it, to be fair, to be honest.
All right. So, given the information, it sounds like it's not the number that's important, but there is an answer that solves for everything.
Yeah, well, the answer is numbers. I just don't know how to get it. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I have the answer, but...
And
all right, we spill our blood for the answer. There's already one. All right, so the first sentence provides the so it has to be the lowest number possible.
Okay.
If we ignore the 20 and just assume that it's going based on whatever number conceptually it could be. So the first one, it has to be the least amount of fruit necessary to do this.
It's either 0 or 3.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, it sounds like the answer there. If there are 3 fruits on there and we pick all 3, and we provide 1 to each, and then he can't double it, and then in the end, it's good.
It says, I'm guessing it is more than 3.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Written.
Here's how I argue it. So it says, pluck from the harvester the least amount of fruit necessary to perform this ritual. So you only need enough to satisfy all of the next lines. And so in the next lines, the blacksmith, the hunter, and the wanderer must have equal offerings.
Mm-hmm.
And after the offering, you have to display the alchemist how much plucked fruit is left, that he may double that amount. So if you have 0...
I'm guessing after making an offering, so every time.
Oh, yeah, leave offerings, plural, and then after making an offering. Okay, all right, so that makes it more interesting.
I'm guessing that's how it works.
Yeah, leave equal amounts.
Okay, so it has to be at least 1 then.
Yeah.
The one number has to be... You can't just say 0 and just solve all the lines.
Well, 0 doesn't work because 0 is not an offering.
Yeah.
Satisfy of like, how many fruit have you offered to each? 0. How much fruit is there left? 0. But anyway. Okay.
Oh, but it sounds like, I mean, if the alchemist is always doubling how much fruit is left after every offering, then doesn't it stand to reason that it would just infinitely go on?
I think
Not necessarily.
Let me just try.
The end. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be giving away.
No, please talk to me.
Well, I'm not even sure if that's right. I guess we can do I can help you out. I don't really know although I should know. I know the answer, so my reasoning is probably would be helping you too much because it's based upon me knowing the answer. The way I understand it, anyway, I think this is a hint. I hope. So the way I understand it, after the last offering has been made, the amount that you show the harvester, the alchemist must be 0.
That makes sense.
But only after the last offering.
Yeah.
So you have to do 3 rounds of offering, so to speak. And the last
offering... would it work with 9? No, it wouldn't. Oh, maybe no.
Yeah, so plucked, how much plucked fruit is left. So it's not, it doesn't actually speak about the harvester really. It doesn't really matter because it only counts, the alchemist only counts the plucked fruit.
Mm. Okay.
I think I got it.
Oh,
Take 4 fruits.
all right.
We give 2 fruit to the blacksmith. We show 2 fruit to the alchemist, which becomes 4.
Yeah, then
To the hunter, that, oh no, because then it would come back up to 4 again. Fuck.
Yep.
yeah.
But I think that's the right way of thinking, basically.
Yeah. One. All right. For the last offering to be 0, it sounds like it's impossible, right? Because no matter how you do it, you're still going to be doubling a number. And I don't know how that number could equal the amount that is necessary for the last one.
Well, that gives you one clue at least, I think.
Yeah.
If you double the number, what does that mean? What is the number? What does the number have to be?
Has
Double?
to be even?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The number has to be even. So that's one clue at least.
Yeah.
So the number that you give to each of the 3, as last clue, the number that has to be given to each of the blacksmith, the hunter, and the wanderer must be even.
Yeah. And even if you try 2, that would be 1, double it, 2, 1, double it, 2.
Crystal's probably figured it out by a long time now, but she's dead, so she can't speak. The sound of Piper's ghost is weeping in the background.
Oh, poor Piper. So I can make it to the second one, but then I'm at 0. So if you do 3, if you pluck 3, give the blacksmith 2, 1 left, double that. We'll give the second one 2, but then you're down to 0 for the third one. So it sounds like just a little bit more. Let's say
Yeah, I keep ending up in that same issue of like getting the second one, but then having 0
Yeah.
last one. Is there any ability to like backtrack on the offerings, or is it only you can only give one offering to each?
No, you can only give one offering to each.
You can only give one offering to each? Okay.
Yeah.
That must be the same.
Yes.
Gods are jealous.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but that fails the ritual, and who knows what happens then. Someone has some really loud background noise. I think it's Mitchell.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me mute that.
Yep, thanks. Yeah, it's a pretty evil game, torturing players with maths and stuff.
I know, right?
Yep. It's I didn't promise too much when I said major adult content. I mean, if this isn't adult content, then I really don't know what is. It's horrible. You're just trying out all the numbers now. Okay, well, I'll tell you the number isn't super high. So if you continue, I guess you'll hit it eventually. I don't know.
But it is an even number.
Which one?
The amount you pluck.
Can't say anything about that.
I think it's 7. I think it's 7 is the number we pluck, and 4 is the amount we give each time.
Okay.
Because this is what it works. Is we take 7 from the harvester. We give 4 to the blacksmith. We have 3 remaining. We present to the alchemist. The alchemist doubles that to 6. We give 4 to the wanderer. We then have 2 remaining. We show that to the alchemist. The alchemist doubles that, and we give 4 to the last one.
All right. Indeed. I think you have solved this devilish final challenge.
Yes.
Okay, so Solomon, with his knowledge of the stars, probably has some mathematical skills as well along the way. So after a while of brooding and bashing your heads together and listening to the faint wailing sounds of Piper's ghost in the back, you take 7 fruit from the harvester, leave 4 fruit in each, and indeed, the ritual is completed. The sigil of blood starts shimmering and then draws together. And where the sigil was, where the scroll was lying, you can see a whole pile of fresh fruit with a single black gem on top of it. And then you hear as the massive door swings open. And you can see beyond it a short cavern with an opening through which faint gray daylight is coming in.
I turn
Looks
to
like our way
Zahir
out.
and say, "Let's go. Let's get out of here."
Solomon and Zahir, stepping
Yeah.
past the remains of the circle, stepping over Piper's body, make their way out. And you come into this final part and see the light for the first time in what feels like forever. And you emerge from this maze, this twisted mass of stone behind you. Before you, you see only a grim, gray wasteland under a dark, overcast sky, all covered by a fog that seems nearly impenetrable. The cold, damp air clings to your very skin, carrying with it a heavy stench of death and decay. Beneath you is a wet, black soil writhing with worms, and a webwork of dead plant roots sprawling throughout it. What few plants and trees you can see in the mist are grey and rotten, and even the grass itself seems loath to grow in this barren place. A sense of sadness and disgust comes to you. A flicker of ash falls from the overcast sky, and the fog begins to darken as smoke chokes the air. You can taste the foulness of disease, and the lingering smoke carries the smell of burning hair and flesh. In the distance, you hear the screams and howls of people and animals in agony. Welcome to Xas Irkalla. This is where you live. This is where you die. Maybe both. And that drops the curtain for this on this adventure.
Yeah.
2 people have survived.
Yes.
All the evil and the maths and everything.
Oh, that math. Oh man.
And they have emerged into the world of the world proper of Xas Irkalla. And what happens to them there? They even brought some items with them. So not the worst outcome in the world. But that's a story for another time. For now, True Mask Game says to my players, thank you for playing. Of course, including Crystal, who didn't make it all the way to the end. But can I say, she lived as a hunter and died as a hunter, ripped apart by the antlers of some wild, even though dead animal. And to our viewers, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. This was Xas Irkalla. We might run some further games in this system. The strain system is quite interesting, even though I've probably made a couple rule mistakes along the way. But hey, it's the first time. And we'll see how it goes. So yeah, thank you for watching. And True Mask Game says goodbye and good night.